Chapter 1095. How could I have such a secret technique? How come I don't know about it? Li Fan rolled his eyes. These people have already researched it to perfection. That's right, this is the combination of your genes and some mutant genes. Jiang Feng's voice was somewhat proud. Have you seen it? This is the power of technology. Under the control of this power, the underworld will no longer exist, and a brand new, controllable power will be controlled by the right person. Who is the right person? I won't deny it, I am indeed very suitable. Jiang Feng nodded, because I want to build a brand new society, eradicate those with superhuman strength. This way, the human world will be equal, only then will there be happiness. That's really crazy, Li Fan asked. So, even Murong Bo, you also want to get rid of him? Master has raised me, I will never betray him. He's not weak. Isn't that the opposite of what you're thinking? Master is also the most loyal soldier of the government. Jiang Feng cunningly replied, moreover, what I said is only my ideal. This ideal does not conflict with the holy war plan. Second brother Jiang, your words are still the same, watertight. Li Fan chuckled, only you know what you're thinking in your heart. I only want to benefit this country. Jiang Feng did not hesitate. Eliminate all the unstable factors, create a truly controllable armed force. This is the holy war plan. Ridiculous! Li Fan snorted. To give your own massacre such a beautiful title, you are really thick-skinned. I have said, I don't need you to understand my justice. Jiang Feng's eyes were filled with determination. Number 1, kill him. Under his command, Li Fan, who has the flame ability, moved again. His whole body was covered in flames. In a flash he arrived in front of Li Fan, followed by a heavy flame kick, a kick toward Li Fan. Li Fan used crane hand to block. Bam! He was kicked and flew out, slid back more than 3 meters, and was pushed by Jiang Yuanyuan and Jiang Fangfang behind him. Aya, this guy has such great strength. Even the dragon girl said, he almost caught up with me. I hope he can't eat as much as you. Li Fan shook his numb hands, and at the same time, got rid of the flame. Combining his gene with the mutant gene, the combination of true chi and superpower? If that's the case, I should also show my hand. Just as Li Fan was about to make a move, Jiang Feng smiled and made number 1 retreat to his side. We are all sworn brothers, you are ruthless, but it doesn't mean I am. Jiang Feng said, plus, you are also a member of the government. I don't want to be too heartless. I will give you face and also give you a chance, little tyrant. He stretched out a finger. I see that your relationship with Luo Xuewu of Yijian is pretty good. How about this? I'll give you 1 day to surrender with Luo Xuewu. This way, I can guarantee your safety. I will just abolish your martial arts. I will cut off your tendons. Although the second half of your life will be miserable, it is better than death, right? Jiang Feng originally thought that he would have to wait for Takeda Gang from Japan to get rid of Li Fan. But he did not expect that Li Fan would take the initiative to deliver himself. Then he would take this opportunity to eliminate him. Number 1 strength is very strong, so strong that even Jiang Feng is a little jealous. But after the jealousy, he is secretly happy. After all, no matter how strong he is a weapon without thoughts and will listen to his command. Alright, see you in a day. Li Fan is not in a hurry to fight with him. He wants to see Luo Xuewu's situation first. Number 1 is very strong. Li Fan does not want to use Gui Sword to kill him. This Gui Sword is a killer move. Its original name is Sa Shou. Legend has it that it was created by Qin Qiong. It can be called his killer move. In the competition, he will suddenly throw out the big mace in his hand and hit the opponent. Ordinary people will not be able to react in time and will have their heads smashed by the heavy big mace. But if this move is broken, Qin Qiong will be the unlucky one. Without a weapon, his fighting strength will be greatly reduced. This is the origin of the killer move. It is also meaningful. When he was fighting with Azure Dragon threw out his killer move in advance, but it was broken by him. After that, Azure Dragon fled in a sorry state. Li Fan is the same. He will not use his killer move unless he has no other choice. This superpower number 1 is not simple. Li Fan decided to think about it. Sharpening the knife will not delay the work of cutting firewood. Think about it carefully. See if you want to live or die tomorrow. With that, Jiang Feng retreated with the clones. Why didn't you kill him just now? Are you afraid? Jin Hisao could not help but ask. What's the rush? That person is very cunning. Even if I get rid of number 1, he might still have a second or third one. Li Fan is calm. At this time, why don't we take a look at how your alliance leader is doing? Jin Hisao also knows that what Li Fan said makes sense. Without saying anything else, she turned around and walked into the depths of the snowy mountain. The headquarters of the Smiling Sword Breeze is located in a valley in the snowy mountain. The valley was surrounded by snow-capped cliffs. Even martial artists would not be able to get close to it. The only way to enter and exit is through a narrow gap. But it is not foolproof. At that time, Li Fan followed Lu Zhu and took a detour to escape. Usually, there are 2 disciples guarding the valley entrance. But today is a little different. There is not a single sword guard at the valley entrance. There is only a group of clones blocking the entrance. It seems like no one is allowed to pass. But when Li Fan walks over, these people automatically make way for Li Fan and his group. Look, although this Jiang Feng is not much, at least he keeps his words. That guy is not a good person. Dragon Lady is walking beside Li Fan with a big box of chips in her hand. I don't like his aura. Trust me, I don't like it either. Li Fan said without hesitation, but he is not a simple person. It is better to be careful. So timid. Are you really the little tyrant? Jin Hisao sneered. Who knows? Li Fan shrugged. How would I know who you came all the way here to seek help from? Jin Hisao heavily snorted again, but she did not continue to ridicule Jiang Feng. The surrounding clones are like statues, standing there motionlessly, allowing Li Fan and his group to pass. Although Jin Hisao is very vigilant, these people do not have the slightest intention to attack. Where are the sword guards? After entering the city, Li Fan could not help but ask when he saw that there is not a single person. Chapter 1096. You're about to see it. Jin Kumo pointed at the Hall of Valor. Hall of Valor? Li Fan remembered the last time he was here. At that time, he even exchanged a few moves with Zhang Xiaotian. He wondered how strong Zhang Xiaotian's martial arts had become. He wanted to exchange a few moves with Zhang Xiaotian. But now wasn't the time. Li Fan followed Jin Kumo into the Hall of Valor. The interior of the Hall of Valor was dilapidated. It seemed to have suffered a lot. Many disciples of E-Sword were lying here with injuries all over their bodies. Several disciples in charge of medical treatment were running around to treat these disciples. Luo Shuowu sat in the middle, holding a sword in her hand. Her face was gloomy, and she seemed to have suffered some internal injuries. Gua Mingming was beside her. He was usually a blockhead, but today his head was bandaged with dark red blood seeping out of it. Clearly, he was also seriously injured. Zhang Xiaotian sat in the corner. He had lost an arm. Night Rain sat in a wheelchair, looking at a map as if he was deducing something. Luo Shuowu's 4 heavenly kings seemed to have suffered heavy injuries this time. Kumo, you're back safely. Seeing Jin Kumo, Night Rain's face lit up with joy. Then his gaze fell on Li Fan. Li Fan, long time no see. Forgive me for my injuries, and I can't be polite. Night Rain cupped his hands at Li Fan. The others also looked at Li Fan and the rest. Look, the Guardian King is back. Great, we're saved. Li Fan checked Night Rain's injuries and found that they weren't permanent. He probably needed some time to recuperate, and he could stand up again. Li Fan heaved a sigh of relief. What happened to the Guardian King? Oh, I forgot to inform you. You're now the Guardian King of E-Sword. When Night Rain Tower saw Li Fan, he finally smiled. When did this happen? Cough, cough. Luo Shuowu sat at the side. Although she saw Li Fan, she had been putting up a front because there were disciples around. When he heard Night Rain Tower's words, he immediately coughed twice. Night Rain Tower didn't say anything, but he secretly transmitted his voice to Li Fan. The last time I drank with everyone after drinking too much, they asked you what your current identity should be. The Alliance Master drank too much and casually said that you're our Sword Protector King. Li Fan broke out in a cold sweat. How could this work? Looking at the person who wanted to be his wife, Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why did you only bring so few people? Luo Shuo couldn't help scolding Li Fan. You have so many experts in your escort agency, but you only brought a few women with you. How can you do that? Although Luo Shuo was in love with Li Fan, she would not show it at this moment. Right now, Luo Shuo was the Alliance Master of Leaning Sword. I went through so much trouble to send Tsutomu Hisashi out to look for you, but it's not so that you can bring a girl here for sightseeing. Don't underestimate these people. They are very powerful. Li Fan introduced them. These two are the successors of the 8 Trigram School. They are very powerful. Oh, so they're the disciples of the 8 Trigram School. I apologize for my lack of manners. Luo Shuo cupped her hands at Jiang Yuanyuan and Yi Qingteng. But as you can see, Leaning Sword is in danger and we lack manpower. I, Luo Shuo, appreciate your help. But the enemy is too powerful, so please return. These two are my helpers. How can you chase them away the moment you arrive? Li Fan felt very helpless. I'm doing this for their own good. They are still young, so they don't have to sacrifice their lives for Leaning Sword. With me here, nothing will happen to Leaning Sword. You're so confident, why else would you call me here? I'm interested in your powerful subordinates. Luo Shuo was very familiar with them. Guan Wenbao, Yen Kai, Puti, the Yenjing 11 cavalrymen. They are indeed very powerful, but I came in such a hurry that I didn't have the time to inform them. Li Fan explained. And I did bring 2 powerful helpers. Trust us, we are not here to die. Alright. But Leaning Sword's current situation. You've seen it for yourself? Night Rain Tower, explain. Luo Shuo did not seem to have any strength left. Yes, let me explain. Night Rain Tower nodded. Leaning Sword has been defending against attacks for half a month and suffered heavy casualties. At least half of our disciples have died, and the rest are all injured. Right now, there are only 10 experts left who can accompany you to fight. Little Tian, how are your injuries? Li Fan was concerned about Zhang Xiaoan who was sitting in the corner. Don't worry, I won't die yet. Zhang Xiaotian stood up. Even if I only have one arm left, I can still crush a few Li Fan. No, I mean clones. Under Night Rain Tower's analysis, Leaning Sword and the others who stayed behind also roughly understood the situation. Little Tian, I will help you contact a good doctor and install a bionic arm for you. No need. Zhang Xiaotian said directly, so what if he only has one hand? Didn't Yang Guo only have one hand as well? He also mastered the overwhelming sadness palm. I, Zhang Xiaoan, will also rely on one arm to conquer the world. This guy's fighting spirit was quite high. Li Fan did not try to persuade him. Instead, he explained what he knew about the situation. On the way here, I fought with those clones. Ordinary clones are just cannon fodder. Their human wave tactic might be useful against ordinary martial artists. But for us top martial artists, it's not worth mentioning. It's not that easy. Night Rain Tower smiled bitterly. I'm tired of dealing with 3 of them at once. Don't forget, your 7 Heroes Fist is ranked in the top 10 of the Divine Art Manual. But it shouldn't be difficult for you, right? That's true. That's why we blocked them for half a month. But their numbers are endless, and there's even a clone with flames. This guy is too strong, even us 4 Heavenly Kings can't beat him. In the end, it was Zhang Xiaoyan who sacrificed an arm to protect us. Right now, we are hiding in the Hall of Heroes, relying on the defense of this building to resist their attacks again and again. But I don't know how long we can last. Tomorrow will be the last time. Li Fan stretched his muscles and bones. Since they provoked me, the little overlord, I will not let them off easily. I will let the entire underworld know that whoever dares to use my name, the little overlord, will pay the price. Not bad. Zhang Xiaolan walked to Li Fan's side. Count me in tomorrow's defensive battle. I can barely help you guys. Night Rain Tower pushed the wheelchair. In addition, I will choose 8 experts. Everything will depend on tomorrow. Good. Since you guys trust me, I promise to protect you guys. Li Fan said loudly, this time, leave it to me. Chapter 1097. Li Fan. Before Li Fan went to the battlefield, Luo Shuewu suddenly stopped him. What's wrong? Li Fan looked back at the beautiful snow beauty. Don't worry, in the past 2 years, I don't know how many big and small battles I have dealt with. This is not a big scene for me. I really don't know whether you are confident or boasting. Such a pure and clean woman, standing in front of him, even if Li Fan had a heart of stone, he would inevitably be moved. Hearing Luo Shu's scolding, Li Fan's old face slightly blushed. Well, the war is about to start. Did you come here to scold me? No, Luo Shuewu wanted to say something, but she hesitated for a long time. If there's nothing else, I will set off. I can't let my good second brother wait. As Li Fan said, he turned around and walked out of the door. Hey, Luo Shuewu grabbed Li Fan's sleeve. Wait? Well, what's the matter? Is there anything else you want to say? Li Fan asked half-jokingly. Li Fan, do you remember what we said last time? Luo Shuewu suddenly asked. Li Fan really couldn't remember clearly. What did they say? You are such a jerk. Finding that Li Fan really forgot it, Luo Shuewu seemed a little angry. Then I will say it again. If we can come back alive this time, let's get married. Luo Shuewu once again proposed to Li Fan, which made Li Fan a little dumbfounded. That this time, she suddenly said this kind of words. Li Fan naturally knew what Luo Shuewu was thinking, but at this time, he couldn't answer Luo Shuewu. We may never see each other again, but you don't want to answer me? Luo Shuewu seemed a little sad. Do you think that I just want to marry you for the good of the alliance? Well, little. Don't worry. Even if I die, I'm willing to be a ghost couple with you. Luo Shuewu said firmly. Li Fan didn't know whether he should be touched or not. Sometimes this woman was silly and cute. How can you say such depressing words before going into battle? Li Fan reminded her, I will return in triumph. Don't worry. After that, Li Fan did not wait for Luo Shuewu to answer, but turned around and walked out of the room. By the time she reacted, it would be too late. He came to Yi Jian to fight, not to talk about love. Li Fan turned around and left the Hall of Valor. Jiang Yuanyuan and Jiang Fangfang had been waiting outside for a long time. The dragoness was still sitting at the side, gnawing on a roasted chicken. Yi Jian no longer had anyone to help her catch pheasants. These were the few that Li Fan had caught overnight. No matter what, he had to satisfy this little lass's appetite first. There were still 10 experts from Yi Jian standing outside. Zhan Xiaoyan and Night Rain Tower stood on the left and right. Although they were injured, their eyes were filled with determination, as though they had disregarded life and death. Jin Hisao had also recovered a little. She stood beside Night Rain Tower and looked at the layers of clones that surrounded the tower. There were also 7 experts from Yi Jian waiting for orders. Luo Shu held onto her sword and slowly walked out from the second floor of the Hall of Valor and stood on the balcony. Gua Mingming, with his head covered in bandages, stood by Luo Shuewu's side. This loyal guard would never leave her side. Li Fan, have you chosen? Jiang Feng stood in front of him. A few clones were carrying a sedan chair for him to sit on. It was truly a pleasure. Li Fan was a little unhappy. Damn it, why does it look like I am the one carrying him? I have chosen. Li Fan hooked his finger at Jiang Feng. With me, little tyrant, here, who can harm Yi Jian? All right. Jiang Feng lowered his voice. I knew you would choose this way. Clones, listen to my orders. Attack this place and kill everyone. Over 100 clones slowly walked over. No matter how many of them come, they are just sending themselves to death. Li Fan was rather disdainful. Just let them come. Is that so? Jiang Feng snapped his fingers. Each of the clones was carrying a metal box on their back. With a snap of Jiang Feng's fingers, the metal boxes immediately moved, releasing sets of battle armor from within and covering the clones' bodies. Very quickly, these clones were all wearing steel battle armors. They looked very mighty. Surprised, right? Jiang Feng seemed to be a little proud. These ordinary clones are unable to fuse with mutant genes, but they can be strengthened with battle armors. After wearing this set of armor, their battle prowess has doubled. I have to say, you guys really know how to cause trouble. Li Fan ridiculed. However, no matter how much trouble you guys cause, it is still an unorthodox method. I will use my martial arts to defeat you. That's all. As expected of the little tyrant. Today, I will let you understand how great the power of belief is. Saying so, he pointed at Li Fan. Go. Number 1, you lead the battle. Just as he finished his words, a flame immediately fell from the sky. Li Fan raised his head. His right hand condensed a ball of energy and threw it towards the sky. Dragon spitting ball. This ball of energy hit the flame and caused a huge explosion in the sky. Rumble. A man penetrated the flame and descended. His leg was like a sharp axe, carrying flames as it descended from the sky, chopping towards Li Fan's head. Li Fan stretched out his hands and blocked this kick. Bang. His knees slightly sank and he almost knelt on the ground. This Berserk clone number 1 was really scary. Do you need help, Mr. President? Jiang Yuan winked at Li Fan. No need. Li Fan's lips curled up. Just listen to Night Rain Tower's command. As for this guy, leave him to me. President, you really like to show off. Men are all like that. The two sisters started to ridicule again, but Li Fan laughed out loud. Whether I'm showing off or not, you will know soon enough. Li Fan said and pushed his hands upwards, sending clone number 1 flying. He then leaped towards clone number 1 in the sky. Both of them exchanged a few blows in the sky. Chi and flames continuously exploded in the sky. Guys, I will leave it to you. Night Rain Tower sat in a wheelchair, but he had the demeanor of Zhuge Liang. He commanded the few remaining combat forces to launch a counterattack against the clones. The clones surged forward like a tide. After wearing the metal armor, they were even more powerful. Everyone, who can help me open up a path first? Night Rain Tower squinted his eyes. I need a warrior to help me kill my way in. I'll go. I'll do it. Jin Hisao and Zhang Xiaotian said at the same time. Both of you are injured. Leave this to me. Jiang Fangfang picked up his Bagua blade. Night Rain Tower, how do you want to play? Chapter 1098. Let's fight our way out. Night Rain Tower pointed at Jiang Feng. As the saying goes, kill the leader first. Kill that guy and we will win. This was the best way to deal with a large number of enemies. Leave it to me. The moment Jiang Fangfang finished her sentence, she already charged forward. In the blink of an eye, she appeared in front of one of the clones and slashed at it. Clang! However, the clone raised its arm and used its armored arm to block Jiang Fangfang's slash. Such a sturdy defense. Seeing this scene, Night Rain Tower could not help but take a deep breath. Looks like the battle prowess of these clones has exceeded our expectations. So he still had a trump card. Jin Hisao was furious. Damn that guy. How much does he look down on E-Sword? This guy's strength is indeed enough to topple the world. Night Rain Tower's expression was ugly. He scratched his chin and pondered for a moment. Miss Jiang, please attack the joints of the armors. Night Rain Tower's eyesight was amazing, and he quickly analyzed the battle strategy. Okay. Jiang Fangfang's body turned and dodged the attacks of two clones. At the same time, she slashed at the shoulder of one of the clones. Pfft. The joints were indeed weak, and one of the clones' arms flew into the air. So that's how it is. Jiang Fangfang smiled. Now it's your turn to be unlucky. After Jiang Fangfang found the weakness, she was like a wolf in a flock of sheep, rushing into the battlefield of the clones. However, the joints of the clones were still relatively small, and it was not easy for Jiang Fangfang to kill them. She rushed forward with all her might, but Night Rain Tower waved his hand. Now is the time. Everyone, please lend me a hand and rush in through the gap that Miss Jiang has created. The opponent was a huge giant, and Night Rain Tower only had a dagger in his hand. Therefore, What Night Rain Tower needed to do was to stab the dagger into the heart of the opponent. E-Sword's main force had been eliminated, and normal tactics were no longer useful. Take the unexpected path and take the enemy's head. This was Night Rain Tower's only belief. Zhang Xiaotian and Jin Hisao brought the remaining experts of E-Sword and directly followed Jiang Fangfeng. The 10 of them were like sharp blades that pierced through the clone army. Not a bad strategy. Jiang Feng sat on the stage and praised, as expected of Yi Jian's battle commander. He has been able to resist us for half a month. Even Wudong and Shaolin don't have such fighting strength. Thank you for your compliment. Night Rain's eyes flashed. Miss Jiang, give up the target and attack the clone on the left. Jiang Fangfang did not know why Night Rain Tower gave such an order, but she immediately followed it. She raised her sword and pounced at the clone. Protect him. Jiang Feng was shocked. He waved his hand and ordered the clones to protect the one beside him. How did you know he was the commander? Jiang Feng asked. I just guessed it. Night Rain smiled. After all, you've always had such a clone by your side since the first battle. He has never moved, but there must be a reason for his existence. Very smart. But do you think I'll let you get what you want so easily? Jiang Feng ordered even more people to protect the clone, but Jiang Fangfang had already led a group of Yi Jian experts to kill their way in. In order to get rid of the clone, they fought with a group of clones. But because they lost the ability to move, Yi Jian's disciples started to be injured. Zhang Xiaoyan was also gasping for breath. Because he only had one arm, he was unable to dodge the attacks in time and suffered many injuries. Got it. With the help of Yi Jian's disciples, Jiang Fangfang finally arrived in front of the clone and directly slashed with her sword. She chopped off the clone's thigh, and when he fell, she kicked his head, sending him tumbling to the ground. Following that, she followed up with the 8-trigram blade, ruthlessly stabbing into the gap of his neck and chopping off his head. All of the Yi Jian disciples heaved a sigh of relief. They finally succeeded. Well done. Jiang Feng gave a thumbs up, then took out a microphone and held it in his hand, but I still have a backup control system. Night Rain Tower's gaze froze. He hated himself for taking things for granted. Jiang Feng was simply a nightmare. He first created a desperate situation for himself, then deliberately used a few days to set up a bright trap for himself. Night Rain Tower thought that he had found the true light of hope, but in the end, he personally sent the last of Yi Jian's strength into a second desperate situation. I will accept the lives of these people. After Jiang Feng finished speaking, more people surrounded the few Yi Jian disciples. Jiang Fangfang held the 8-trigram blade and stuck close to Jin Jiuma and the others. Right now, they were surrounded by enemies, and there was nowhere to escape. Looks like this is the end. Zhang Xiaoyan's forehead was covered in sweat. He was panting as if he had used up all his strength. Forget it, I will die on the battlefield. Good. Zhang Xiaotian roared 3 times. He was prepared to give up his life here. Night Rain Tower's face was covered in cold sweat, and he was still thinking of a countermeasure. Quickly think, you will definitely be able to think of something. The smile on Jiang Feng's face became even wider. At this moment, a figure suddenly descended from the sky. She was wearing a golden armor, and she landed in the middle of the crowd, creating a pit in the ground. At the same time, a powerful shockwave was set off. A massive shockwave blasted out, sending the clones that were surrounding him flying. Murong Ying. Luo Shuwu stood on the balcony, biting the corner of her mouth. She could not help but be shocked when she saw this scene. No, this was not Murong Ying. She never dressed like this. This golden flying lion armor was a far cry from her Chong Sam preference. Damn Li Fan. Jiang Feng was familiar with this move. Flying lion goddess, this was the superpower that Li Fan borrowed from Bai Lin Luo. The flying lion goddess did not take the initiative to attack. She held the golden lion shield and kept knocking away the clones that were charging at her. My life was saved. Night Rain Tower heaved a sigh of relief. As expected, they still had to rely on Li Fan. You can't even protect yourself, how can you care about others? Jiang Feng roared at the top of his head. Right now, Li Fan was standing on top of a tall tower, fighting fiercely with clone number 1. That clone number 1 was covered in flames like a god of fire, and he was actually on par with Li Fan. A combination of true chi and superpower. I wonder who came up with this method. What a freak. Li Fan really wanted to give him a thumbs up. It was like him fusing with the flying lion goddess. The power produced was really several times stronger. Chapter 1099. Boom! Clone number 1 immediately sent out a flame kick towards Li Fan's head. The clone's body was created with perfect genes, so his control was excellent. The kick that he sent out, regardless of the timing, strength, angle, or technique, was perfect and impeccable. Li Fan used his crane hand to block. Bang! Li Fan's body was pushed back, and his feet stepped on the edge of the tower, almost falling down. Damn, this guy is too strong. Ursa Major Seal. Li Fan took the opportunity to hit number 1's chest. Number 1's body trembled slightly, but he remained expressionless. At the same time, he grabbed Li Fan's wrist with both hands. Dearlock? Li Fan was shocked. This was his own move, and it was perfectly replicated. Number 1's flame kick was launched again. This time, it was indeed the most beautiful kick in the deer strike technique. Even Li Fan could not completely block it, and was kicked down from the top of the tower. Number 1 jumped down from the tower, and chased after Li Fan. His body spun in the air, and with the strength of the battle axe, he kicked down towards Li Fan. Too arrogant. Li Fan's eyes narrowed. As he fell, the chi in his body quickly rose. Divine Dragon General. Li Fan allowed his chi to rise to the extreme, entering the Divine Dragon General stage. The golden radiance draped over his body, making Li Fan even more powerful. His eyes became bright, emitting a golden radiance. This was the manifestation of chi gathering in his eyes. Number 1's speed seemed to have slowed down a little. The energy emitted from his body was very special. It was indeed the radiance of the fusion of chi and superpower. When he fused with the flying lion goddess, it was the same color. Li Fan suddenly stretched out his hands, and used the same deer lock, and grabbed number 1's leg. The heat of the flames attacked Li Fan's body, but Li Fan had the protection of his true chi, so he was a little better. However, this kind of blazing heat still made him slightly unable to open his eyes. Don't look down on the original. As Li Fan spoke, he grabbed number 1's calf and used Subdue the Bear. Borrowing the momentum from the fall in number 1, he spun his body and smashed number 1 heavily into the ground. With a loud bang, number 1's body smashed into the ground, creating a crater. A few clones did not manage to dodge in time and were smashed into the ground. No one knew if they were dead or alive. Dragon King Seal. Li Fan hung upside down in midair and struck down with his palm. Number 1, who was already lying on the ground, was hit by the palm. A huge palm print was left on the ground, and many clones were forced to kneel on the ground by the powerful palm wind. As expected of the little overlord, his strength cannot be underestimated. Jiang Feng did not panic. However, don't forget that guy is your clone. As he spoke, the ground suddenly exploded, causing dust to fly everywhere. A figure jumped out from the dust and charged towards Li Fan, who was in midair. Bang! Li Fan was hit by the palm. If he did not subconsciously raise his arms to block it, he would have suffered a serious injury. His body flew up again and landed on the tower. He hooked his legs on the top of the tower to stabilize his body. Li Fan stared at number 1, who jumped towards him once again and frowned. This guy's strength is not bad. If I can fuse with the flying lion goddess, I can still defeat him. However, the flying lion goddess is currently protecting Jiang Feng and the rest, so I can't take her back. Since that's the case, there is only one killer move left. This game is going to end soon. Jiang Feng suddenly stood up. Let me personally end all of you. As he spoke, Jiang Feng's figure appeared in front of the flying lion goddess. His skills seemed to have improved again. He directly used the acupoint striking hand to sweep past the goddess's shield and hit her throat. Although the flying lion goddess is strong, the combat skills she learned are after all simple. She can't contend against a martial arts expert like Jiang Feng. Zhang Xiaonan also jumped over and slapped Jiang Feng's head. A smile hung on Jiang Feng's lips. He lightly leaned his body to the side and dodged Zhang Xiaoyan's palm. At the same time, he used the acupuncture hand on Zhang Xiaoyan's chest. Pfft. Zhang Xiaoyan spat out a large mouthful of blood. Obviously, he was heavily injured. Jiang Fangfang also quickly rushed in front of him and slashed at his vitals. Clang! Jiang Feng raised 2 fingers and blocked Jiang Fangfang's slash. Too weak. Jiang Feng smiled. With your strength, you are not worthy to fight me. As he spoke, Jiang Feng released sword chi from his finger and sent the blade in Jiang Fangfang's hand flying. Go to hell, bastard! Jin Jiuma's praying mantis fist had already reached the back of Jiang Feng's head. Jiang Feng's other hand pointed backward and poked Jin Jiuma's forehead, causing her to black out and fly out. The rest of the Sword Reliance experts are also not his match. Jiang Feng is like a ferocious tiger coming down the mountain, beating everyone without the ability to fight back. Too powerful. Night Rain Tower sat in a wheelchair, his face slightly pale. Sure enough, the Sword Reliance's lifespan is coming to an end. I'm going to personally go out. Luo Shuwu carried her sword and jumped down from the 2nd floor. Guo Mingming jumped down and stood beside her to protect her. No, Alliance Master. Night Rain Tower immediately stopped her. Your body is not enough. I will live and die with the Sword Reliance. With every step Luo Shuwu took, cold frost would appear under her feet, causing the ground to start to freeze. Her 9-heaven mystic ice technique has already been activated to the extreme. But this way, her internal injuries will also become more serious. Alliance Master, I will also follow you. Night Rain Tower moved his wheelchair and caught up with Luo Shuwu. Sai, I really want to be with them. Jiang Yuanyuan seemed to be a little anxious. Sure. Dragon Lady said as she ate her chips. The president has ordered me to protect you. Jiang Yuanyuan curled her lips. It's all right, this is just a small matter. Dragon Lady waved her hand. Just do what you need to do. Then I will go too. Jiang Yuanyuan licked her lips, carrying 2 fans, and caught up with Luo Shuwu and the rest. Are you all here to die? All right. Jiang Feng opened his chest and let go of his embrace. Let me replace death to embrace you all. I will end you all and end this evil underworld. In your dreams. Li Fan roared in the air. He landed and headed toward Jiang Feng. A guy who can't even protect himself. Jiang Feng ordered, Number 1, kill him. Number 1 also jumped down from the tower. His body was covered in flames, like a rocket, and his speed was extremely fast. Bang! Number 1 caught up with Li Fan and knocked Li Fan to the ground. I will kill these people one by one in front of you. Jiang Feng looked at Li Fan who was lying there. This way, you won't be lonely on the road to hell. Chapter 1100. Flames appeared on Number 1's feet as he stomped heavily on Li Fan, who was lying on the ground. Li Fan, who was supposed to be lying on the ground, stretched out his hand and grabbed Number 1's foot. What? Jiang Feng, who was prepared to watch the show, felt that something was wrong. A huge gust of wind erupted from Li Fan's palm, blowing Number 1's body away. Number 1 crashed heavily into the tower behind him, and his body was embedded in the tower. Li Fan leaped up, and his skin turned slightly red. A golden ring slowly condensed behind him. He stretched out his left hand and struck at Jiang Feng. A black and red qilin seemed to appear in the air and charged at Jiang Feng. Boom! Jiang Feng's body was directly sent flying. Qilin palm. The dual effects of ice and fire also erupted, tearing at Jiang Feng's body. He fell to the ground and spat out a large mouthful of blood. Li Fan didn't care about him. Taking advantage of his unparalleled mode, he held the true dragon hand with his right hand and pointed forward. A large amount of true chi condensed into sword shadows and descended from the sky. It was like a rain of swords, landing in the crowd of clones. Bang bang bang. A large number of sword shadows tore at the clone's armor. Under Li Fan's strength, Their bodies were constantly being torn apart, and very soon, they became fragmented. At least 30 to 40 clones were killed in an instant, and Li Fan's strength was also exhausted. He half knelt on the ground, panting slightly. Using unparalleled mode would indeed consume a large amount of his body and stamina. His 5 internal organs were slightly injured. Li Fan took out the rejuvenation pill and vitality pill and stuffed them into his mouth. The apothecary's good stuff was indeed very useful. After eating the 2 pills, Li Fan immediately recovered a lot. Jiang Fangfang and Jiang Yuanyuan cooperated with each other, one defending and the other attacking. With the cooperation of the remaining experts of Sword Reliance, the clones were completely thrown off their armor. Jiang Feng struggled to stand up. There was blood at the corner of his mouth, and his body was crooked. What kind of technique is this? Jiang Feng wiped the blood at the corner of his mouth and looked at Li Fan. Wushuang. Li Fan said, "Do you want to learn? I can teach you." "I don't need your charity." Jiang Feng looked at Li Fan hatefully. "Li Fan, today I'm not as good as you, but next time, I won't let you have it so easy. Do you think you can escape?" Li Fan had no intention of letting Jiang Feng go. "Clone, suicidal attack." Jiang Feng ordered, and the clones around him began to emit white steam. Their battle armors glowed a crimson red, as though they were ignited. These clones changed their direction and attacked Li Fan together. Li Fan assumed a fighting stance. Although he had already taken 2 types of pills, he still felt a little tired. At this time, Jiang Yuanyuan landed beside Li Fan. She showed off her beautiful figure, holding 2 fans, as if she was dancing, wandering around Li Fan's left and right. A clone that pounced over was swept away by Jiang Yuanyuan's fan. Boom! This clone exploded in midair, setting off a huge energy that swept the surrounding air. The impact caused Li Fan to sway a little. Jiang Yuanyuan stood in front of him and used her fan to block this violent energy. "You're welcome, Mr. President." Jiang Yuanyuan winked at Li Fan. "Still, thank you very much." Li Fan couldn't do anything to this mischievous brat. "Mr. President, you can continue to recuperate. Leave this to me." Li Fan looked at the direction where Jiang Feng disappeared. This person probably hasn't reached the end of his lifespan yet. Almost all the remaining clones were used up, and number 1 was nowhere to be seen. He probably left with Jiang Feng. Number 1 should be considered a highly completed work. It was impossible for Jiang Feng to sacrifice him. They've finally been repelled. Luo Shuowu was exhausted after repelling a few clones. She leaned on her sword and stood there, her long hair fluttering in the wind. "Sorry for frightening the Alliance Master." Zhang Xiaotian and Jin Qimo all knelt in front of Luo Shuowu. "We will rebuild Yijian as soon as possible, strengthen the defense, and guard against the enemy." "Well, although I should let you guys recuperate first, the enemy in the dark is watching covetously. I don't know when they will attack again." She waved her hand. "All the disciples of Yijian strengthen the defense of Snowy Mountain. As for Li Fan, I'm done here, I have to return to City G." Li Fan hurriedly said, "I still have to go to university." "You're already in this state, and you still have the mood to go to university." Jin Qimo couldn't help but ridicule. "Shut up, Qimo." Luo Shuowu immediately reprimanded, "How can you speak to Dharmaraja like this? Moreover, he saved us this time." "Yes, this subordinate is wrong." Jin Qimo lowered his head. "Not subordinate, we're sisters." Luo Shuowu stretched out her hand and gently pulled Jin Qimo up. Then she pulled the other disciples of Yijian up one by one. "You're all my brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for fighting with me to the end. I'm willing to live and die with Yijian." Everyone said in unison. "Then I'll go back to City G. If there's anything, you don't need to ask Jin Qimo to come here next time, just give me a call." "Idiot, the signal here was blocked before." Jin Qimo had just finished ridiculing, but when he saw Luo Shuowu's expression, he hurriedly said, I was rude, please forgive me, Dharmaraja." "Forget it, I didn't think of it." Li Fan gave them a reference. "You can prepare a satellite phone so that nothing can go wrong. No matter where I am, I'll come as soon as I hear Alliance Master Luo's call. Then I'll thank Dharmaraja in advance. Ijin is really lucky to have you. Luo Xuewu maintained the necessary politeness. Li Fan thought she was angry, but from her eyes, he saw a trace of passion. This woman, she might be up to something again. No, I'd better leave quickly. Li Fan had a bad feeling about this. Everyone, we're going back. Li Fan called the satellite phone that the general gave him. Soon, a helicopter appeared above their heads. As Li Fan expected, the military was on standby nearby. They should also be monitoring Dragon Girl's safety. Dharmaraja can stay for one more day. Luo Xuewu looked at Li Fan, who was about to board the plane. I'll treat you well. Aha, now that Ijin has so many things to do, it's better not to treat me well. Li Fan looked serious. I'm the Dharmaraja of Ijin, so I should be more careful for Ijin. I've decided in my own name to donate 100,000 yuan to Ijin. Dharmaraja, we appreciate your kindness, but we've already prepared the funds for the repair. Luo Xuewu smiled for the first time in so many days. Chapter 1101. Li Fan went back to City G awkwardly. On the way, the two sisters kept laughing at him. This pair of beautiful sisters, weren't they just exposed for being misers? What's so funny about that? Hey, 100,000 yuan is a lot, okay? I'm very poor. Li Fan emphasized. Yes, the president is so generous. Jiang Yuanyuan winked at Li Fan. I heard that you helped someone open a management company and took out more than 10 million yuan. Where did you hear that? Li Fan's expression became nervous. Doesn't the president know? We were also invited by our senior sister. Jiang Yuanyuan giggled. Senior sister said that the two of us can be developed into top-grade teenage flower idols. These two were quite good, but it was not good to reveal the company's secrets so early. You two don't understand. Business is business, and feelings are feelings. Li Fan said seriously, the 10 million yuan I invested in the management company was donated to Ijin. It's my private money. Private money? I heard that the management company invested 1 million yuan. Yuan, you can't say everything. Jiang Fangfang reminded her sister, the president will be embarrassed. You will let him find out that he is very stingy. Li Fan wanted to cry. These twins should not be cultivated as idols. They should be doing crosstalk. Do you really want to be idols? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. In this case, you will have less time to practice martial arts. It's hard to be an idol. You have a full schedule. It doesn't matter. We are young and energetic. Jiang Yuanyuan deliberately emphasized the word young. And a big star like Shen Qin is very handsome. And being an idol is much more interesting than being a martial artist. Don't you like being a martial artist? Yuanyuan doesn't like it. I'm fine. Jiang Fangfang took over the topic for the first time. After we graduate, one of us has to inherit father's Bagua school. So for the next few years, I want to go crazy with Yuanyuan. After graduation, I will take over the sect. Li Fan saw a sense of responsibility on Jiang Fangfang's face. She was an elder sister after all. Aya, why should I take over the sect? Can't I just leave it to Big Brother? Jiang Yuanyuan grabbed her sister's hand. What are we worried about? Besides, isn't it your wish to be an idol? I remember when we were young, we used to play the role of a famous celebrity. Wasn't that when we were kids? Jiang Yuanyuan glanced at her sister. Moreover, the sect must not be handed over to that playboy. Playboy? Li Fan's passion for gossip burned brightly. This is a family matter, I won't tell the president. Even Jiang Yuanyuan refused to talk about this matter, so Li Fan didn't ask further. The Holy War plan is quite boring. Dragoness slept for half a day on the plane. She slowly woke up, seemingly because she was hungry. She stretched and then mumbled, just a few roasted chickens, I'm not even full. Didn't the 4 sacred beasts also participate in the Holy War plan? Li Fan asked, why didn't they appear? Those few people can't be casually invited. Dragoness took out a bag of chips from the side. They probably think that eliminating a sect like Yi Jian doesn't require the power of the 4 sacred beasts. The 4 sacred beasts are very proud. I hope they can continue to be proud. Li Fan sighed. If the 4 of them appear at the same time, even I might not be able to handle them. Don't worry, the 4 of them are extremely proud. They will definitely not appear at the same time. Dragoness explained. If the 4 of them appear at the same time, it proves that the end of the world has arrived. The end of the world. Yes, the moment the 4 sacred beasts appear at the same time, it is the time to destroy the entire world. Dragoness nodded. Ever since the humans betrayed them, the 4 sacred beasts have always wanted to destroy all humans. Even after they were made into weapons by humans, they still did not forget about this point. The moment the 4 of them appear at the same time, it means that the sacred beast's heart has already affected them and the world's destruction is imminent. You make it sound so serious. Li Fan shrugged. Then it's better if they don't appear at the same time. But to be honest, I still want to challenge the 4 of them at the same time. Speaking of which, you can take the initiative to defeat them. Dragoness seemed to have thought of something. If the 4 sacred beasts don't appear at the same time, they naturally won't stay together. In the Divine Land, they live on top of the 4 sacred towers. As long as we reach the sacred tower, we can summon these people and defeat them. That's not bad. Regarding the mysteries of China, Li Fan really wanted to study it in depth. What's not good about it? The 4 sacred tower is very hard to find. Dragoness rolled her eyes at Li Fan and continued to eat the chips. Moreover, in the 4 sacred tower, the power of the 4 sacred beasts is not restricted at all. They can unleash their power at will and there is no time limit for the released power. Fuck, it's that abnormal? After listening, Li Fan was a little speechless. Of course, but there are also benefits. Dragoness dropped a good thing for Li Fan. After conquering a sacred tower, you can obtain the power of a sacred beast. Fuck? That's good. Li Fan did not know how many times he was shocked today. But after so many years, every generation's Shang-Fang sword wanted to challenge the sacred tower but they all failed. Dragoness recalled. Let me think. Wang Luo's previous generation's Shang-Fang sword seemed to have gone to challenge the sacred tower after nurturing Wang Luo. In the end, he still hasn't returned. I guess he has long become a skeleton. What you said makes me even more interested. Li Fan licked his lips. After I settle the management company and dojo matters, I'll go challenge the 4 sacred tower. It's not impossible. Anyway, you're the Shang-Fang sword. Whatever path you want to take, it's all up to you. If you die, I'll help you choose the next generation's Shang-Fang sword. Then do you think I'm suitable to be the Shang-Fang sword? Li Fan suddenly asked. Dragoness stopped eating for the first time and looked at Li Fan carefully. It was unknown what she was looking at. Blooming on my face? No. Actually, your personality is exactly the same as the first generation's Shang-Fang sword. Huh. Li Fan was indeed shocked this time. What do you mean? Before he could understand, the officer beside him saluted Li Fan. Major Li, we've arrived at G University. Chapter 1102. Li Fan did not get an answer. After that, Dragon Girl did not mention it again, as if she had never mentioned it. Li Fan did not have the chance to ask clearly. He quickly got busy with the management company. The dojo was also running at the same time. However, the dojo needed some renovations and could not be completed in a short time. As for the management company, it was better. Lu Wanner directly used her connections to rent a well-decorated office building. Right now, Lu Wanner was pulling Li Fan to look at the office building. Spring River Road? Li Fan looked at both sides of the road and then looked at the tall building. This place is quite prosperous. Of course, many film companies are here. Lu Wanner understood this very well. I specifically asked Jessica. She also recommended me to choose this place for the company. The important thing is not how prosperous this place is, but the culture here. I will definitely listen to you guys on this kind of thing. I don't really understand. Hee hee, Junior, do you know what you look like right now? Lu Wanner giggled as she looked at Li Fan. What? Like a nouveau riche raising a child. Li Fan lowered his head to look at Dragon Girl, who was following him and constantly eating snacks. He wiped his cold sweat. I have no choice. I have to keep this child by my side at all times. Fortunately, you are still young. If you were a little more mature, you would be a weird uncle raising a loli. Lu Wanner held Li Fan's hand and gently leaned on him. If you have any thoughts, just vent them on me. Don't break the law. Go, what are you thinking? Li Fan could not help but gently pinch Lu Wanner's cheek. It was soft and tender, and it felt good to the touch. When they were not in school, the two were openly showing off their love. Dragon Girl seemed to be very used to it. She turned a blind eye and continued to eat snacks, treating it as if she was watching a Korean drama. Speaking of which, I suddenly feel that you are very powerful. Lu Wanner looked at Li Fan with bright eyes. How am I powerful? You have such a beautiful and outstanding female manager as your lover. Isn't that powerful? Yes, I'm quite powerful. Li Fan laughed. After all, to be able to endure such a cheeky little lover, not everyone can do it. If you're asking for a beating. Lu Wanner punched Li Fan angrily. Believe it or not, I'll break up with you. Really? Really? Do you want to have dinner together tonight? I'll go to your place and clean it up. Your room is always so messy, boy. Lu Wanner shook her head, as if regretting something. I'm a man. Do you think I can clean the house every day? Li Fan coughed dryly. I'm a busy man. You're too chauvinistic. Who says men can't clean? Lu Wanner glanced at Li Fan. All right then, I'll clean it up. I'm just saying, let me do it. You're so clumsy, I don't want it. Li Fan was speechless. Why did this Lu Wanner become so mischievous after falling in love with him? You're the general manager of a big company. You have to be steady. Big company? It's just started. Lu Wanner acted like a spoiled child in Li Fan's arms. You're so arrogant. Huh, it will become a big company sooner or later. Li Fan hugged Lu Wanner. Looking at his newly established company, he felt like he was in charge of the country. There's Shin-Shin. She's a big shot. We'll eat her up. If Shin-Shin knows about this, she'll be furious. She won't. She knows it. We're mutually beneficial. Li Fan thought for a moment. Let's go back and sign an 80-year contract. You want to squeeze her dry? Lu Wanner laughed angrily. I'll complain to her later. All right. Let's not talk about her. Let's look at our company. Look at your smug face. Lu Wanner tidied up her clothes. All right, I'll bring you in to take a look. With that, Lu Wanner led Li Fan into the building. Office buildings were usually rented by many companies. Li Fan rented the 7th floor. Besides Li Fan's company, there were 3 other companies on this floor. The 2 of them went straight up to the 7th floor. After entering, they saw 4 signs hanging together. One of them had a familiar name, Phenomenal Entertainment Company. It looks pretty good. Looking at the white gilded sign and the company's registered logo next to it, it was a little comfortable to look at. This is another one of your own designs, right? Looking at the logo surrounded by a golden dragon with an imperial sword in the middle, Li Fan could not help but ask. Yeah, I thought about it for a few days. In the end, I still think it suits you. Lu Wanner's design had a meaning. Li Fan was indeed a little touched. It's my fortune to know you, senior. And it's good that you know. Lu Wanner kissed Li Fan's cheek, then walked towards the company's glass door. There was already a beautiful girl sitting at the front desk. She was the person chosen by Lu Wanner. I only chose a receptionist. There's also my manager, Jessica. With that, Lu Wanner walked to the door. When the receptionist saw Lu Wanner, she quickly opened the glass door, then stood up and bowed to Lu Wanner. Director Lu. N. At this moment, Lu Wanner had completely lost the appearance of a delicate woman from before. She assumed the posture of a strong woman, but she was different from Murong-ing. She had a strong sense of approachability. Let me introduce you. This is our company's director, Li Fan. Hello, Director Li. The beautiful receptionist immediately bowed to Li Fan. She seemed to be a little nervous. No need to be so polite. Li Fan smiled. Work hard, little girl. I see that you have a lot of potential. Director Li and I will go in to take a look. Sort out the recruitment materials and send them to my office in a while. Yes. The little girl was obviously also an assistant. Lu Wan'er and Li Fan walked in together. Li Fan asked Dragon Girl to wait outside for a while. Dragon Girl was also obedient. As long as there was food, she would do anything. The little girl sat outside obediently and ate her snacks. Little girl. The receptionist looked at the little girl and was a little nervous. She kept thinking, who was this little girl? In the end, she couldn't help but walk over and squat down to ask Dragon Girl. Who are you calling little girl? Dragon Girl rolled her eyes. I can even be your great-grandmother. The receptionist couldn't help but laugh. This little girl was quite mischievous. I see that you're almost out of snacks. What do you want to eat? I still have some. Really? Dragon Girl's eyes lit up. Chapter 1103. Inside, there was a long office with 10 desks temporarily placed inside. Currently, these are the desks left from the previous office. I think they are quite good and new. The most important thing is that they are cheap. As long as you think they are good. Li Fan looked at the staff office and felt that it was quite good. Are we looking for 10 people? More or less. 10 people at the beginning is enough. Lu Wan'er made a judgment at that time. If there are too many people, the tail will be too big. If there are too few people, we can't do anything. So for the 10 people, I have already thought of the division of labor for each person. Thank you for your hard work. Li Fan was very grateful to Lu Wan'er. This woman was indeed talented in business. He had really picked up a treasure. Today, you and I have a very important thing to do. Lu Wan'er took out her iPad. On it was the introduction sent by the front desk. Our current salary is calculated according to the most basic film company's salary. It is impossible to directly poach mature employees with high salary. We can only recruit new people from the society. You can arrange this. You want to be a hands-off boss? No way. Lu Wan'er giggled and said, it's already done. The recruitment will begin in a moment. You and I will interview together. You even dare to scheme against the boss. You've learned. Li Fan slapped Lu Wan'er's butt. Come, then let's hurry up and do some business. With that, Li Fan pushed Lu Wan'er down and pressed her on the desk. What are you doing? Lu Wan'er was shocked. I want to punish you. Spank your butt. Raise your butt higher. Oh, Lu Wan'er obediently listened. But then, her scream turned into a painful moan. Li Fan, you actually, since the recruitment has not started, let's do some business first. But, this is the office. If it's not the office, I won't do it. But, what if Dragon Girl comes in? No, just now before I entered, I secretly told the front desk to bring Dragon Girl out to buy snacks. Li Fan grinned. You little rascal, please call me boss. Li Fan slapped Lu Wan'er's buttocks, and the office was immediately filled with a lascivious atmosphere. The dragon lady was holding a large bag of sweet potato slices. The receptionist behind her was carrying several bags of snacks as she staggered in. So heavy, the receptionist had a bitter look on her face. She was obviously exhausted. This little girl actually bought so much? Fortunately, the boss said that no matter how much she bought, he would reimburse her. There's a mistake with one of the resumes. I'll go and check with Director Lu. Just as the receptionist was about to enter, Dragon Lady pulled her back. What's wrong? Is there anything else? The dragoness said lazily, it's busy inside. Just wait for a while. What are you busy with? You are still young. You will understand when you grow up. The dragoness picked up the iPad that Li Fan bought for her. She curled up on the sofa and continued to eat snacks while watching Korean dramas. The receptionist did not understand the situation, but the dragon lady insisted on not letting her in. She could only use the computer outside to send the documents to Lu Wan'er. Half an hour later, the office door finally opened. Lu Wan'er tidied her hair as she walked out. How's the recruitment preparation going? It's almost time. They should be downstairs soon. Okay, let them prepare here and then let them in one by one. Lu Wanner signaled to the receptionist, pay attention to the discipline here. Don't let anything go wrong. Got it, Director Lu. Dragon Lady, I can only let you wait for a while. Lu Wanner said apologetically to the Dragon Lady. It's fine. You do what you need to do. The Dragon Lady waved her hand. She had a lot of time. As long as she had snacks and Korean dramas, she could kill time. When Lu Wanner returned to the office, Li Fan had already put on his pants and was sitting at the examiner's desk, looking at the documents in front of him. Many of them are fresh graduates. Li Fan said, they don't have much experience. Aren't we also university students? It doesn't matter if we don't have experience. We will slowly learn and gain experience. Lu Wanner was very tolerant in this aspect. Moreover, letting them grow with the company will give them a sense of belonging. The most important thing is that fresh graduates have low wages. That's the main point. I feel like you're more of a profiteer than me. Not at all. You're the boss. That's true. The boss will continue to punish you. Go to hell. Stop messing around. They're almost here. Lu Wanner lightly patted Li Fan, dispelling those messy thoughts of Li Fan. At this time, there was a knock on the door. It seemed that the applicant had arrived. Come in. Lu Wanner tidied up her hair and then officially started the interview. Soon, a fat man pushed the door open and entered. He wore a shabby suit and combed his hair back as he sat on the chair. His gaze fell on Lu Wanner. His eyes suddenly lit up. Hello, my name is Di Liang. The fat man said with a proud face, I graduated from XX University of Science and Technology, a top university. You know that? I saw it. Lu Wanner looked at the information on the iPad. The resume says that you just graduated this year and want to interview for the position of director. Your monthly salary requirement is more than 50,000 yuan, right? That's right. The fat man nodded, expressing his confirmation. What advantage do you think you have to get such a high position and salary? Lu Wanner's face did not show any emotion. She just calmly asked. I am a top student from XX University of Science and Technology. The fat man proudly said, this is a top university in the country. I don't need to say more. You also know that a talent like me is exactly what your company needs. Moreover, I have always been a cadre in the society. After entering your company, I think the position of director will allow me to fully display my talent. Moreover, with my help, your company will definitely develop better and rise steadily. Now we need to design a concert plan. What should you do? Lu Wanner suddenly asked. Of course we have to go on a national tour. Moreover, we have to invite some big stars as guests. We have to set a theme for the concert. Make it luxurious and classy. When the time comes, the concert tickets will naturally sell like hotcakes. Our company will definitely make a lot of money. That's right. Lu Wanner smiled, but what if the starting capital is only 1 million yuan? How will you operate it? Chapter 1104. Don't joke with me. How do I do it with 1 million? Fatty laughed. It's written in the book that a concert would require at least tens of millions of startup funds. Even the cleverest housewife can't cook without rice. Student, do you think the company's operation will be completely based on what you read in the book? If the company only has 1 million to operate a concert, what would you do? Then I can only give up. It's simply impossible. The fatty kept waving his hand. Manager Li, although you are not a professional, but if it were you, what would you do? Well, find a university and rent a stadium with the excuse of a campus event. Li Fan thought for a moment. As long as we can use the school's culture as publicity, I think 1 million is enough to negotiate for this concert. Maybe we can even save more. Although the ticket price will be lower, we can raise the price for the public in addition to the school's students. Good proposal. Thank you, Manager Li. Lu Wanner's mouth hung a proud smile, but it disappeared in a flash. She turned her head and calmly looked at the fatty. That's why I said that your education is useless to the company. You should train your foundation for a few more years, student. Humph. What the hell? The fatty was unhappy. A poor company with no money to hire employees. It's a waste of talent for a famous university graduate like me to stay in a company like yours. You can't pretend that you didn't hear that. Li Fan dug his ear and said, "So what if you graduated from a famous university? Don't you still need to find a job? If you have the ability, why don't you let the big company look for you? What qualifications do you have to say that? Your company has just been established. I see that you're not that old. You relied on your family's money to open a company for fun?" The fatty ridiculed Li Fan, but Li Fan laughed. "Then I'm really sorry. My parents have never given me a penny. As for this company, I did open it myself. Not too much, not too little. I only invested a little more than 10 million. You can talk to me again when you can earn the same amount of money yourself." Li Fan asked the guest to leave. Fatty's face turned red. He cursed angrily and turned to leave. When he left, he even slammed the door. Is this the quality of graduates from famous universities? Li Fan sighed. This is too surprising. Not all of them. A small number of people are like that. He thinks highly of himself and is proud and arrogant. After all, he has never suffered a loss. Lu Wanner laughed. Don't worry about him. There are still a lot of people to interview today. Let's look at the next one. Soon, the next interviewee walked in. This time, it was a young girl who was dressed fashionably. After sitting down, she did not forget to look at her own face in a small mirror. "Student, aren't you going to introduce yourself?" My name is Yang Li. I'm 18 years old this year. I graduated from film school." The fashionable young lady constantly tidied up her makeup, and her whole temperament was like a proud little peacock. "Well, according to the resume, you're interviewing for a makeup artist, right?" "Oh, that's one way to put it." The young lady smiled. "I'm preparing to be a makeup artist while learning. After a year, I think I can debut and become a big star. I think our company is not bad. How about I sign with our company?" "Sorry, we are not short of artists now." Lu Wanner immediately rejected. "The company already has 3 signed artists. What we need is staff. Who wants to work behind the scenes? That's too boring." The young lady shook her head. "I'm willing to grow with the company. Shouldn't you like this kind of employee?" "I'm sorry, we need people who are responsible for this profession. Since you have other intentions, please find a better job elsewhere." "Forget it, it seems that we are not fated. After all, I will be a big star in the future. When I become famous, don't regret it." After saying that, she stood up to leave. But after taking 2 steps, she suddenly thought of something. She turned her head and asked, "I remember the recruitment notice said that the travel expenses will be reimbursed. I came here in a luxury car. Is that okay? You can contact the front desk." Lu Wanner had a good temper. But Li Fan was so angry that he wanted to laugh. This lady was really something. Interviewing 2 people made Li Fan unable to sit still. If he met more of these weirdos, he would go crazy. "It's only 2 and you can't stand it?" Lu Wanner covered her mouth and chuckled. Opening a company, it's inevitable to meet these kinds of people. As the boss, you have to get used to it. Are you hungry? Do you want me to buy you something to eat? No, it's an interview. How can I eat? Don't find an excuse to leave. Just sit still. I'm a bit hungry. Come on, didn't you eat until you were full? I eat you. The more I eat, the hungrier I get. All right, then don't eat anymore. Next, come in for the interview. In one day, Li Fan and Lu Wanner interviewed more than 20 applicants. On the first day, only 4 people passed. As for the others, some were fishing in troubled waters, some were biting off more than they could chew, and some were just shooting their mouths off. In fact, the company was quite tolerant. As long as the standard was about the same, Lu Wanner was willing to give a chance. It seems that one day is not enough. I need to go through a few more rounds of interviews. After everyone had finished their interviews, Lu Wanner stretched her body. Her posture was so charming that Li Fan was reluctant to look away. Such a great beauty, he must have been extremely lucky to have met her in 3 lifetimes. Only with the help of his ancestors could he win her heart. Let me handle the rest of the interviews. I feel that you're not suitable for the interview. You've quarreled with several applicants. It's them who are unreliable. Li Fan felt wronged. Especially when I saw their disrespectful attitude towards you, it made me angry. Yeah, so you have to change something. What is it? You'll be responsible as Shun Chen's agent. Lu Wanner's words were shocking. Agent? Shin Chen? Have you lost your ability to speak? Can you say it together? You want me to be Shin Chen's agent? Who's the crazy one here? I can't help it. Jessica is responsible for the communication. Lu Wanner shrugged her shoulders. I can only let you be the agent for the time being. You're definitely crazy. I should buy some medicine for you. Li Fan was speechless. Then I'll leave it to you. Shin Chen will also come to the company tomorrow. You have to be responsible for teaching her well. Chapter 1105. So, from today on, you're my agent? Shin Chen was wearing a blue sweater and jeans. She sat on the sofa and looked at Li Fan in front of the desk. Dragon Girl was curled up on the sofa as usual, watching Korean dramas while eating snacks. There were several boxes of snacks in the office, all bought on Taobao for the little girl to eat to her heart's content. Although I'm not willing, it's true. Li Fan looked at some of the notices in Shin Chen's hands and could not help but sigh. Jessica helped you contact 10 variety shows, but they were all rejected by you. What's going on? They're all small variety shows, boring to death, I don't want to go. Shin Chen said while trimming her nails. Shin Chen, don't you understand? You're so poor now that you can't even find an agent. Li Fan reminded Shin Chen, all your expenses are paid by the company. You don't expect me to support you for a lifetime, do you? What are you afraid of? I'll sing 2 songs and you'll earn back your money. If it's so simple, why did you look for us? Li Fan glared at the girl. China is full of entertainment companies, why don't you look for them? They have no taste. It's you who's biting off more than you can chew. Li Fan did not care about Shin Chen and said bluntly, you're now a has-been star. If you don't reflect on this matter, you'd better find a boss to marry. I think with your past fame, it's possible to find a coal boss in Shangxi. Bastard, you're making it sound so bad. Shen Chen was so angry that her nose was crooked. There are so many people who like me. From here, you can line up to the capital. Really? Then you can just pick one and marry it? That won't do. Shen Chen curled her lips. Who says a woman must marry? I won't marry, how about it? How much? But since it's your own decision, you should at least let me see your efforts, right? Li Fan looked straight at Shin Chen in front of him. You only have lofty ambitions, but no action. Who doesn't? Which eye of yours saw it? Shin Chen questioned. Are you asking me? Li Fan did not stand on ceremony. He directly walked over, picked up Shin Chen, and threw her in front of the mirror. Come, look at yourself in the mirror. Bastard, you're hurting me. Shin Chen shouted, but Li Fan had no intention of letting go. In this society, who cares if you're in pain? They will only care about whether you are popular or not. During this period, no matter what kind of suffering you suffer, no one will care about you. Damn it. You're a bastard. You're right. I'm a bastard. Li Fan didn't refute. But I'm sorry, in this society, there are too many jerks like me. Don't tell me you are waiting for people like me to pity you, Big Shot Shin? Or have you forgotten that if it weren't for me, you would have been forced to shoot porn? Li Fan suddenly sneered. Now I feel that it's not a bad idea for you to act in a R-rated movie. At least I can still make use of your remaining value. I don't want to. I have talent. I won't be like those dirty women, to shoot that kind of dirty movie. Dirty? Li Fan sneered. Don't beautify yourself. How strong do you think you are? Those women, they also earn their money through blood and sweat. Moreover, they won't be like you, thinking highly of themselves. In some aspects, you're not even as good as them. Damn it, you're humiliating me. I'm elevating you. Now you're penniless. I won't shoot that kind of thing even if I die. Shen Qin gritted her teeth and looked at Li Fan in the mirror. You might as well kill me. Otherwise, do you think you have any remaining value? My voice has recovered. I can still sing. Shen Qin, your voice is good, but in this world, there are many people who can sing better than you. To me, you're just a woman who only knows how to daydream with a little beauty. You bastard! Shen Qin became agitated. The pen next to her suddenly flew into the air and stabbed at Li Fan's temple. But Li Fan reached out and directly grabbed the pen in his hand. You think you're doing well? You can rise by singing? Shen Qin, if you don't put down your pride and don't want to work hard like others, then you can only be a has-been star forever. Bastard, I can still do well without you. Sure. Li Fan smiled and pushed Shen Qin aside. Go do it. I want to see, without me and Xiaowan's help, how far can you, a woman who only knows how to dream, do? I can do it myself. Xiaowan is my friend, she won't listen to you. But this company is mine. Li Fan crossed his arms and looked down at Shen Qin. I have the final say in the company. Xiaowan is just my employee. Without my permission, she can't use any of the company's resources. Including Jessica, her salary is also written by me. If you think you can pay her salary of 30,000 a month, then you can take her away. Bastard. Shen Qin was furious. She turned and rushed out of the office. Soon, Xiaowan came in and looked at Li Fan anxiously. Li Fan, what's wrong? Did you quarrel with Shen Qin? Senior sister, are you asking me as Manager Lu or as Shen Qin's friend? Both. What kind of trick are you playing? Sit down first. Li Fan pulled a chair in front of him. Xiaowan sat in front of him, waiting for Li Fan to give her an answer. Well, let me ask you first, what do you think of Shen Qin? Except for her bad temper, she's not bad. Is that so? Li Fan pointed to the 10 notices on the table. She rejected these 10 notices. Maybe she thinks that these programs have too little influence. She's no longer the popular superstar Shen Qin. If she doesn't change, then she'll always be rejected by others. Xiaowan, I saw with my own eyes how you reviewed these programs one by one. You even stayed up all night to call the producers and ask them to give Shen Qin a chance. As for Shen Qin, she ruined your and Jessica's efforts, as well as your intentions. Just because she doesn't like these programs. Why do we owe her? Li Fan snorted. If she doesn't change her bad temper, then no one will care about her. But, no buts, if you really want her good, then listen to me. Li Fan's voice was filled with an unquestionable tone. You asked me to train her, then do as I say. Chapter 1106. Although Lu Wan did not agree at first, she eventually succumbed to Li Fan's tyranny. Shen Qin's matters were now handed over to Li Fan. Li Fan went to class every day, went to work, and occasionally dealt with the club's affairs. Shen Qin had not come since the last incident. He was probably still struggling because of his pride. However, Li Fan was not in a hurry. Shen Qin had always been a spendthrift. According to Lu Wan-er's internal information, Shen Qin had no savings. He had been living off his savings. Li Fan calculated that Shen Qin would be back in less than 10 days. 10 days later, Li Fan stood in the dressing room, looking at the pair of sisters who had been carefully dressed up. The company had hired professional stylists and makeup artists, who were all newcomers who had just graduated. However, their ideas were very innovative and the cases they gave were also very fashionable. At this time, the pair of sisters were wearing uniquely designed clothes. The two girls, one in black and the other in white, looked very fashionable and had different styles. The company's design was in the style of ice and fire. Therefore, Jiang Yuanyuan's black clothes were engraved with flames, while Jiang Fangfang's white clothes were dyed with blue and white snowflakes. Not bad, not bad. Li Fan was very satisfied. This image suits you very well. Of course. Jiang Yuanyuan said proudly, who are we? He. In the mainland, there are actually very few people who can become famous as a group. The makeup artist next to her was called Peter, who was a little feminine. He was thin and had a girly demeanor. He wore a black top hat and a pair of white frame spectacles. He wore a white shirt, pink pants, and white leather shoes. He crossed his arms and looked at the pair of sisters, very satisfied with his work. However, these two are really good. As long as we polish them carefully, they will definitely be able to stand firm. Well, next is the condition of the voice. Li Fan looked at his watch. The recording teacher is not here yet? He should be here soon. The company had not found a suitable recording artist yet, so they were renting one from outside. I don't have much confidence in singing. Jiang Yuanyuan wasn't boasting, but she was clearly a little worried. Don't worry. As long as you're not tone deaf, it's fine. Peter adjusted his glasses and said, You guys have what it takes. You don't have to worry about singing. Hearing Peter's comforting words, the two sisters heaved a sigh of relief. About singing. As soon as Li Fan finished speaking, the door to the dressing room was suddenly pushed open. Shin-Chen walked in aggressively from outside. Shin-Chen. Li Fan glanced at her and then looked at the time. I'm sorry, you're not scheduled for today. Manager Li, can you talk to me? Shin-Chen seemed to be restraining his temper. Sorry, I don't have time. Please, no matter what, arrange some time for me. Shin-Chen bit her lips. Is it something important? Very important, Shin-Chen begged again. All right then, I'll give you 10 minutes. Li Fan instructed Peter, help me keep an eye on this place. I'll go talk to Shin-Chen. Li Fan walked out of the dressing room and glanced at the other office outside the door. The door of the office was made of glass. Dragon Girl was sitting inside eating and drinking. The little girl also had her own room in the company so that she wouldn't disturb other people's work. All right, what's the matter? Say it. After Li Fan entered the office, he lay down on his office chair, put his feet on the table, and looked at Shin-Chen opposite him. After Shin-Chen came in, she closed the office door and then looked at Li Fan. The words were at the tip of her tongue, but she swallowed them back down. After repeating this for a long time, Li Fan became quite impatient. If there's nothing, then forget it. My time is precious and I have a lot of things to do. Li Fan began to ask his guests to leave. Li Fan, how did you become like this? Shin-Chen looked at Li Fan angrily. You weren't like this before. Didn't you like to help me? Since when did I like to help you? Li Fan put his hands on his lap and kept crossing his fingers. You may be mistaken. I, Li Fan, have never been a good person. The only reason I helped you before was because of the money you gave me. Yes, I'm not a good person, but I'm a businessman, and a trustworthy one at that. Then what do you want? I'm already so miserable, and you want to add snow to the fire? Shin-Chen pressed her hands on Li Fan's table and stared at him at close range. Big shot Shin, are you mistaken about something? Li Fan smiled from ear to ear. It's not me who made you so miserable. Why should I be responsible for it? Then what do you want? It's not what I want, but what you want. Li Fan reminded her, you've seen my company, we've tried our best for you. Your life is miserable, but there are millions of people in this world who are worse off than you. Do I have to be responsible for all of them? I'll go on these shows, Shin-Chen bit her lips. Don't, Big Shot Shin, you make it sound like I've wronged you. We don't raise big shots here, you'd better find another one. Bastard. Isn't the original intention of your company to help me? You're mistaken, right? I've said it before, the original intention of the company was to rely on you to make money. But now you can't make money for me, so I naturally don't need you. Don't be like this. What about me? I'm just asking you like a normal boss. Li Fan looked at Shin-Chen and spoke mercilessly. Shin-Chen, if it weren't for the lack of money, you wouldn't have come to me, right? Your self-esteem is just like that. Under the pressure of material things, it's gone. Shin-Chen did not speak, but just bit her lips. She had been really down recently. Although she could still live in the school apartment, Luan was almost not in the apartment every day. She did not know where she was living. Therefore, the apartment's electricity bill had not been paid. Shin-Chen could not even take a bath, let alone eat. She did not know that Luan was now living at Li Fan's place every day. This was one of Li Fan's evil plans. Shen was afraid that it would not be long before she died in the apartment. She could not take a bath, could not afford cosmetics, and could only eat steamed buns every day. This was not the life that Shen should live. Do you want to live a better life? Li Fan saw through Shen's thoughts at a glance. After all, this was a trap that he had set up step by step. At this time, Shen had completely jumped into the pit and could not escape from the palm of his hand. Chapter 1107. Shen hesitated for a moment. 3 minutes left. Li Fan glanced at the clock on the wall. There are 3 minutes left for our conversation. What do you want? 3 minutes. If you can move me, I'll give you a chance to participate in the variety show. Li Fan gave the final order. Shen was still hesitating. 2 minutes left. Shen finally made a move. She bit her lips tightly and slowly took off her clothes. A minute later, Shen stripped down to her underwear and stood in front of Li Fan. Shen had been exercising and maintained a good figure, especially the mermaid line on her abdomen, which was full of attractiveness. You do have a good figure. Li Fan crossed his arms and looked at Shen. But do you think this can move me? Shen gritted her teeth. She slowly reached out her hand and put it on her bra. She seemed to have made up her mind to take it off. Enough. Li Fan stopped her. You're stupid, but you're not bad. Don't you want to do this? Shen's eyes were filled with tears. She looked at Li Fan mockingly. You're the same as those people, all want my body. Will you be satisfied if I do this? Silly woman. Li Fan threw Shen's coat back and threw it on her. Is 3 minutes not enough for you to sing a song? Shen was stunned. What about me? Li Fan looked at Shen seriously. What I want to see is your efforts, not your depravity. Shen, you're ambitious and confident. These are all right. But for this, you should put in more effort than ordinary people. Shen hugged her coat. Tears kept flowing down her cheeks. Shen, I've taught you long ago. You're just a little better at singing, but you're not much different from the millions of others. Your pride is worthless and will only make you fall behind. I hate you. Shen wiped away her tears. Did you come here to punish me? Not to punish you, but to make you better. Li Fan emphasized. Shen, do you always want to be a has-been star? Li Fan, you're a demon. You flatter me. Li Fan smiled. This makes me very shy. I knew you wouldn't dare to do anything. Shen wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and looked at Li Fan in front of her. As if you dare to do anything. You're underestimating me. Shen was immediately unconvinced. The things I can do are beyond your imagination. Oh. Li Fan raised his eyebrows, put down his legs, sat up straight, and looked at Shen with interest. What can you do? Big shot Shen? Without saying a word, Shen stepped forward. She crawled under the desk, then reached out and pulled down the zipper of Li Fan's pants. What are you doing? Li Fan was a little surprised. I'll let you see how powerful I am. You're kidding me. It's fine if you're pretending, but don't mess around. Li Fan did not believe that a proud woman like Shen would do anything to him. It was impossible. What's there to be afraid of? Shen snorted coldly. Isn't it just eating stinky things like men? You sound so relaxed as if you've eaten them before. I've seen them in movies. What the hell? What movie are you watching? None of your business. Shen squatted there and hesitated for a long time. Li Fan could not help but laugh. Stop it, I'm already very surprised that you can do this. Looking at Shen who was struggling with herself, Li Fan could not help but want to laugh. What, you don't know how? I have no actual combat experience. Shen muttered. If you want to learn, I can teach you. Li Fan said half-jokingly. Can't you teach me something good? You don't have to learn if you don't want to. I won't fall for your provocation. Then why don't you get up? Shen was just a mouth cannon. She did not have the guts to do anything. Bastard Li Fan. Sooner or later, I'll get even with you, Shin-Chen was still stubborn. She was about to stand up, but there was a knock on the door. Manager Li? Li Fan and Shin-Chen became nervous at the same time. It was Lu Wun'er outside the door. With the two of them acting like this, they would definitely be misunderstood. Li Fan quickly pressed Shin-Chen's head and put her back under the table. Then he looked at Lu Wun'er, who pushed the door and came in. Manager Lu, what's the matter? Li Fan pretended to be calm and asked. Manager Li, the sound recorder is here. The office door was open, and Lu Wun'er maintained a polite look. Well, I got it. Can you contact Shin-Chen? Let her try the recording. Lu Wun'er still secretly helped Shin-Chen. I asked Jessica to help contact a famous composer and write a new song for her. Manager Lu, you spoil her so much, but you'll spoil her. Li Fan reminded Lu Wun'er. After all, we're good friends. I can't watch her go downhill. Lu Wun'er gave Li Fan a gentle smile, then remembered to contact her. I heard she came today, but she didn't find her. Well, she just talked to me and I scolded her away. Li Fan felt his thigh being pinched. I really don't know what to say. After all, I'm the company's decision maker. I have to be responsible for the company. Li Fan replied in a dignified manner, in short, believe me. Well, then I'll go do my work first. Lu Wun'er was about to leave when she suddenly turned her head and carefully looked at Li Fan. Manager Li, you're a little strange today. Ah? What's strange? Li Fan was a little nervous. If it was in the past, you wouldn't let me go out so easily. Lu Wun'er winked at Li Fan. Li Fan coughed twice. At this time, there were outsiders around, and he didn't want to expose the secret. If this matter was spread out, especially to Lin Yuechen, Lu Xinan, and those other women, what would happen? They would eat Lu Wun'er up. There are a lot of things to do today, especially Shin-Chen, she's giving me a headache. His thigh was pinched again. That's true. All right, I won't disturb you anymore. Remember to come to the recording studio. Lu Wun'er was very understanding of Li Fan, and she finally left. Li Fan let out a long sigh of relief. It was really dangerous just now. I was scared to death. Shin-Chen also came out from under the table. She mumbled as she put on her clothes. Why do I feel that Xiao Wan listens to you so much? She's my subordinate after all. Li Fan made up a lie. In short, it doesn't matter how you treat me. Shin-Chen's eyes suddenly fixed on Li Fan. But if you dare to bully Xiao Wan, even if I die, I won't let you go. Chapter 1108. You guys better hurry up. My time is very precious, you know. The sound engineer sat on the chair and said unhappily, wasting my time is wasting my money. Teacher Andy, I'm really sorry. Lu Wun'er personally handed a cup of coffee to the sound engineer. Please take care of me today. In my opinion, for a small company like yours, you can just hire a couple of recording artists. This sound engineer had a goatee, wore a green vest, and had a pipe in his mouth. My time is very precious. In the afternoon, there are two big shots who want to record a song for me. Yes. Teacher Andy, I'll have to trouble you. Lu Wun'er said all kinds of soft words, but Jiang Yuan and Jiang Fangfang were in the recording studio and did not hear this conversation. Otherwise, with Jiang Yuan's temper, she would definitely not be able to bear it. This pair of twins looks not bad, but I wonder what their voice is like. The sound engineer did not like this small company's duo. Every year, there were many people who wanted to debut in the entertainment circle. Regardless of what they looked like or what their voice was like, they all wanted to be famous in the entertainment circle. But in this circle, how could it be so easy to stand out? The sound engineer took a look at the song in his hand. This song? This was written by teacher Little Jian? The sound engineer felt that the style of the song was very familiar. As expected of teacher Andy, you can recognize it at a glance. Lu Wun'er smiled. Why would he write a song for two newcomers? The sound engineer felt a little puzzled. This was not logical. In short, since it's teacher Little Jian's song, I'm a little interested. Hurry up and start. I hope these two newcomers don't ruin the song. the sound engineer urged as he put on the monitoring headphones. Jiang Yuanyuan and Jiang Fangfang stood in the recording studio and began to sing the song according to their rehearsal. Their voices were not bad, and their singing was also very standard. After the sound engineer finished listening, he took off the headphones and blew out a smoke ring. It's just so. The sound engineer was not very satisfied, and his expression was very reluctant. This kind of duo relied on their looks, so he naturally could not expect too much. If they have any problems, I hope teacher can help them. Lu Wan still maintained her politeness. Then let's talk about it. The sound recordist didn't want to say anything, so he quickly finished recording and left. But at this moment, Li Fan pushed the door open and entered. Manager Li, this is the sound recorder, Teacher Andy. Lu Wan hurriedly introduced them. Teacher Andy, this is our director Li. Oh, hello. Li Fan held out his hand, but the sound recordist did not intend to shake it. Hurry up and record. I'm not interested in getting to know the boss of a small company. Just let me finish my work. Li Fan couldn't help but shake his head. This recording artist was crazy. It seemed that it was more important to find a recording artist in the company. Director Lu, how is their recording? Li Fan did not want to deal with the recording artist. He turned his head to look at Lu Wan. Listen. Lu Wan played the song that the twins sang for Li Fan to listen to. This time, the company had found a well-known composer to write a fast song for the twins. The two girls followed the route of the school's popular style. After listening to it, Li Fan felt that it was not bad. It was light and had a sense of rhythm. Coupled with the image of the two girls, they should be able to debut smoothly. Can you hurry up? I'm very busy. The sound recordist urged again. If you guys don't continue recording, I'm leaving. Teacher Andy, don't worry. Lu Wana was about to persuade him, but Li Fan stopped her. Li Fan looked at the time and then looked at the sound recordist. Why are you looking at me? The sound recordist's temper was unparalleled. I'm paying for you to work for 4 hours. Li Fan said bluntly, so far, you have worked less than 2 hours, less than 4 hours. Please have some shame, don't keep mentioning about leaving. Don't you have any manners? The sound recordist immediately shouted, do you know who I am? How dare you talk to me like this? I indeed don't know manners. Because I'm a businessman, I do things according to the contract. Li Fan took out the contract. It's written clearly in black and white. You don't know what art is. The sound recordist directly grabbed the contract and tore it into pieces. Isn't it just a breach of contract? I'll compensate you. Country bumpkin, go play by yourself. With that, the sound recordist turned around to leave. Teacher Andy, Lu Wan still wanted to persuade him to stay, but she was pulled by Li Fan. Li Fan. Tell him to get lost. Li Fan said bluntly, find a reliable and obedient sound recordist. What bullshit, master, we don't need one. Alright, Lu Wan actually felt that the other party was a bit unreliable. This master was too careless when working, which was not helpful for recording. However, Lu Wan thought of another meaning. Having a master to record a song was indeed a very useful gimmick for publicity. But Li Fan did not like it, so they did not do it this way. Just as the sound recordist was about to leave, Shen Chen pushed the door open and entered. Li Fan, I'm here to record a song. Shen Chen? Seeing the beautiful female star who walked in, the sound recordist was dumbfounded. You're also here to record a song? Andy? Shen Chen glanced at Andy and curled his lips. Why is this guy here? He's just passing by. Li Fan indicated that there was no need to care about him. Shen Chen, hurry up and record the song. Shen Chen's attitude towards Li Fan was much better now, but the sound recordist was a bit anxious. Everyone. Just now I was a bit too much. Let me continue with my work? Li Fan looked at this guy a bit strangely. Was he intermittently crazy? Li Fan did not understand Andy. Although Andy was a famous sound recordist, he was not the top. To become a top sound recordist, he still needed the help of a top singer. But a top singer would not look for him at all. That was why when he saw Shen Chen, He was so crazy that he did not even care about his face. Compared to a top singer, face was nothing. I will never use a person like you. Li Fan righteously waved his hand and rejected Andy's request. I don't need to charge you. I'll record this song for free. I appreciate your pursuit of art. Then let's do it this way, I promise you. Shen Chen and Lu Wanner looked at Li Fan with disdain. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm also trying to save some money for the company. Li Fan coughed twice. Work is more important, record the song. Chapter 1109. Shen Chen and the twins were slowly getting on the right track. The company was managed well by Lu Wanner. Shen Chen performed as usual. After all, she used to be a popular star. And the twins slowly had problems. Lu Wanner temporarily let Li Fan take care of them. What's the matter? Why are you frowning? Li Fan walked into the lounge. Jiang Yuanyuan and Jiang Fangfang were sitting there. The two sisters didn't look very good. Our song doesn't look very popular. Jiang Yuanyuan sat there with her little face on the table. She looked unhappy. The new song released at the same time. Shen Chen is #1 on the Golden Songs chart. The two of us didn't even enter the top 30. I was wondering why the two little princesses were so listless for a few days. Li Fan couldn't help laughing. Didn't you guys just want to play around? Why are you so serious this time? Since we're doing it, we should do it well. Jiang Yuanyuan sighed. I still like being a star. Forget it, Yuanyuan. Jiang Fangfang tugged at her sister. This shows that the two of us really don't have the talent to sing. I don't want to rely on my face to make a living. Jiang Yuanyuan was quite ambitious. President. Oh no, boss, how can you develop the potential of me and my sister? If you say that, the president will think the wrong way. Jiang Fangfang reminded her sister. That's true. Jiang Yuanyuan tilted her head and looked at Li Fan. Boss, you're not thinking the wrong way, are you? This Jiang Yuanyuan was wearing a low-collared shirt. Sitting there, Li Fan could even see the snow-white skin on her chest. Li Fan suddenly thought of the sexy cosplay photos that Jiang Yuanyuan had posted before. He couldn't help but feel a little hot inside. This girl, she definitely did it on purpose. Fortunately, Murong AI had been taken back by her family recently. Otherwise, things would get lively again if she came and poked her nose in. But it wouldn't be long before this girl slipped out again. Recently, the pugilistic world was in turmoil. Murong Bo probably wouldn't let her little daughter run around. I'm so unwilling. Jiang Yuanyuan wailed. Jiang Fangfang couldn't do anything to her sister. How about this? I have an idea. Li Fan thought for a moment, then said, Initially, I didn't want to teach you. All right, boss, you're still hiding something. Jiang Yuanyuan immediately stood up and took Li Fan's arm. Although the little girl's chest wasn't big, it felt very real when it was pressed against Li Fan's arm. It's not that I'm trying to hide it, but if I do that, it would be unfair to the other singers. You're the little tyrant. When did you start talking about fairness? Jiang Yuanyuan asked immediately. That's true. Li Fan felt that with the improvement of his martial arts, his competitive spirit seemed to have gradually decreased. Since that's the case, I'll teach it to you too. Li Fan revealed the secret. Actually, there are many ways to use true qi. You too should know about demonic voice infusion, right? Of course, this is a kind of devil skill. Jiang Fangfang's understanding of martial arts was very profound. Li Fan felt that in this aspect, she might be second only to the devil cult's Lu Zhu. Speaking of which, he hadn't seen Lu Zhu for a long time. He kind of missed him. He didn't know what this guy was doing now. With the turmoil in the pugilistic world, perhaps the devil cult wouldn't be spared. Li Fan, do you mean that when we sing, we should use the ability similar to demonic voice infusion? Jiang Yuanyuan was exceptionally smart and seemed to understand something. Let's not talk about whether it can be done or not. Even if it can be done, demonic voice infusion will only work on the people present, right? Jiang Fangfang pondered, if that's the case, won't CD and electronic music have no effect? It will work. Li Fan reminded her, what I want to do is not to let the demonic voice infusion, but to let the two of you learn how to use true qi to make your voices resonate. In this way, your singing will be different from others. Can such a thing really be done? Jiang Fangfang was somewhat doubtful. Li Fan smiled, I'll demonstrate it for you. With that, he raised his true qi and gathered it in his throat, making his voice resonate with the true qi. After Li Fan sang a few lines, the two sisters opened their eyes wide. This is too powerful. Li Fan's singing had a strong attraction. The magnetism of his voice even made the two sisters' bodies slightly soft. Jiang Yuanyuan's face was red. Although she was usually very noisy, she was a bit traditional in her bones. But at this moment she was a bit wet. This made her particularly shy. This is too embarrassing. Li Fan's singing is really scary. How is it? Li Fan maintained his demonic voice. My voice has not changed, nor is it demonic voice infusion, it's just the resonance of true qi. I can't do it. Jiang Yuanyuan's face was flushed, tightly leaning on Li Fan's body. You quickly speak in a normal way. Jiang Fangfang was also leaning on the wall next to her, seemingly enduring something. Hey, you two, what's wrong with you? Li Fan was somewhat puzzled. I can't hold it anymore. Jiang Yuanyuan suddenly pulled off Li Fan's shirt, both of her hands hugged Li Fan, and her cherry lips kept kissing Li Fan's neck. Jiang Fangfang's eyes were also watery as she walked step by step toward Li Fan. She was still strongly restraining herself, but it seemed that she still could not resist this terrible impulse. Oh no! Although Li Fan was looking forward to the two sisters serving him together, he did not want to use such a method. Just like how he inexplicably gave up his first time to Imperial concubine Zhou, Li Fan knew that these two girls certainly did not want to carelessly give up their first time. Li Fan immediately put away his sound resonance, and then with a fierce tiger roar, he woke up the pair of sisters with a roar. The two girls woke up, their faces were even redder, and they did not dare to speak. The atmosphere was a little awkward. Li Fan could not help but cough twice. That is a bit too powerful. Jiang Yuanyuan also recovered a little, and the redness on her face faded a lot. Perverted president. Jiang Fangfang turned her head. I also did not know that it would have this effect. We can try to lower the resonance. You still want to try? Jiang Yuanyuan seemed a little afraid, but also a little expectant. Yes, this is also for your own good. Li Fan's righteous manner made it hard for the beautiful sisters to refuse. Don't worry, this time I will lower the resonance, there should be no problem. With that, Li Fan spoke again, and the beautiful sisters simultaneously became nervous. Chapter 11:10. Just as Li Fan sang a line, the two girls' faces immediately turned red. The two girls continued to squirm, and Jiang Yuanyuan kept rubbing against Li Fan's body. Li Fan hurriedly used the fierce tiger roar to wake the two girls up. Li Fan. Looking at the shirt that she almost pulled off, Jiang Yuanyuan angrily looked at Li Fan. Are you doing this on purpose? How is that possible? Li Fan hurriedly explained, my heart is open. If you continue to try, both of us will lose our chastity. Jiang Yuanyuan angrily looked at Li Fan. Tell me, is this your purpose? Perverted boss. Jiang Fangfang added insult to injury. She kept turning her head to look somewhere else, not daring to look at Li Fan. It's really not. Today is my first time using this ability, so it's hard to distinguish what kind of effect it has. Li Fan hurriedly explained. This time he was telling the truth. Then what should we do? We can't go on like this. Jiang Yuanyuan was very afraid. Sister might be able to, but I definitely can't bear it. Jiang Fangfang wanted to say something but hesitated. Then let's do it this way. Li Fan said as he stretched out two fingers and poked Jiang Yuanyuan's body. At present, only Li Fan knew this kind of acupoint striking skill. He used his powerful internal force to seal Jiang Yuanyuan's ability to move. Although it won't be long, it's enough. Jiang Fangfang, you come too. Li Fan said as he took a step forward and poked Jiang Fangfang's body. Jiang Fangfang's body stiffened, a bit at a loss. Li Fan had sealed her acupoint, so she couldn't move for a while. You two can still talk. Li Fan reminded the two of them, I'm going to continue with the test. If you feel uncomfortable, remember to tell me. Li Fan said as he let his true qi begin to resonate and then continued to speak. How is it? Can you do it this time? Li Fan's voice sounded in the ears of the two girls. Is the size right? As soon as he said that, Li Fan felt a little evil. All right, it doesn't seem appropriate to ask this. No. Too big. Jiang Yuanyuan's breathing was rapid, and her voice was unsteady. Then I'll be more gentle. As he spoke, Li Fan lowered the resonance and began to sing. The two girls seemed to be very uncomfortable. Their faces were flushed, and they were biting their lips. Their bodies were trembling slightly. If it weren't for their Dian acupoints sealing their bodies, they would have already pounced on them. While Li Fan was singing, he constantly adjusted his temperament, and at the same time, observed the situation of the two girls. From the initial trembling, it gradually calmed down. When Li Fan reduced the resonance to the minimum, the two women's expressions finally eased up a lot. Yes, that's enough. Jiang Yuanyuan finally heaved a sigh of relief. Is that all? Li Fan glanced at Jiang Fangfang, and she also nodded her head. Okay. Li Fan stretched out his hand and unsealed the two's acupoints. The two of them also heaved a long sigh of relief. This was simply torture. Come, I'll teach you this method. Li Fan finally mastered the strength, and the resonance amplitude, you must master it well. Your last song was really beautiful and touching. Jiang Yuanyuan couldn't help but praise. Boss, although you're a pervert, you still have a way. I still have 3 more. Li Fan rolled his eyes. All right, you two hurry up and practice. The two sisters nodded their heads. This method was indeed effective. The two of them began to practice the new vocal method with Li Fan. Li Fan's resonance method was not very difficult. The only difficulty was the way to use true qi. However, the two sisters' talent was not bad. Under Li Fan's guidance, they soon had some small achievements. After teaching for a day and a night, the two of them finally learned it. The next morning, Li Fan brought the new song and gave it to the two sisters. Will it work this time? Lu Wan crossed her arms and stood beside Li Fan, looking at the pair of sisters in the recording studio. Although the sales are not very good, it won't be bad. After all, the two of them don't have any talent in singing. When they go back, they will go to variety shows and show their faces, and their popularity will slowly increase. Believe me, this time it's no problem. Li Fan winked at Lu Wan. I taught them personally. Even if you can make a person's character better, Lu Wan was referring to Shunqin. Recently, she had become a lot more modest. Although she still had a bad temper, compared to before, it was not much better. But you can't make a person's singing sound beautiful, right? You will know in a moment. Li Fan remained mysterious, causing Lu Wan to pout coquettishly. However, in front of so many employees, Lu Wan did not dare to show too much. She could only stand there and wait to see what kind of medicine Li Fan was selling in the gourd. Jiang Yuanyuan, who was inside, gave Li Fan a confident look. You too, what the hell are you doing? Lu Wan scratched her head. This Li Fan always liked to show off. The two of them put on the monitoring headphones, and the newly recruited recording engineer was beside them, working cautiously. Although he was a recent graduate, this recording engineer was very serious and responsible, which Li Fan appreciated. Deliberately mystifying. Shunqin was also called over and put on the headphones. She did not care at all. These two girls had no talent in singing, how could they compare with her? However, as a senior, she could still give some advice. Let's start. When Li Fan's voice fell, the twins had already started singing. Everyone did not have any expectations, thinking that the boss wanted to promote the twins, so they improvised. However, after the twins started singing a few lines, everyone was stunned. Lu Stared with her eyes wide open. Shin Chen's mouth was wide open. The two girls completely did not care about their image. This was simply unbelievable. What kind of magic did Li Fan use? He could even do this kind of thing? No matter how much these two girls trained before, their singing was only at an ordinary level. But today, the two of them could be described as heavenly music. So scary, how did Li Fan do it? After the two girls finished recording, everyone was still in a daze. Okay, it's over. Li Fan reminded the recording engineer. The recording engineer seemed to suddenly wake up and quickly finished recording. That pious look was as if he had completed a sacred task. Li Fan, what did you do? Shin Chin grabbed Li Fan's sleeve. How did the two of them improve so quickly? This is impossible. Some small skills of a martial artist. Li Fan winked at Shin Chin. Do you want to learn? Chapter 11:11. The twins became famous. In an instant, they became famous all over the country. Their latest single even overtook Shin Chen's first place and became the champion in one fell swoop. Li Fan walked in the school and listened to the twins' new song on the radio. He couldn't help but feel a little proud. It seemed that he still had the talent to train stars. He should give himself a title in the future. He would be called the best manager. You're also quite amazing to be able to use your true chi in such a way. Dragoness followed beside Li Fan. The little girl would always have snacks in her hand. What do you plan to do next? Everything is on track. The company is also being handled by Lu Wan and the others. I can relax a little. It was early winter, but G City was still as warm as spring. Li Fan stood under the sun and stretched. He looked very satisfied. I'm going to go into seclusion for a while and then challenge the sanctum. Head escort Li. Before Li Fan could finish his plan, a man wearing the uniform of the Brocade Clan Guard suddenly walked out from the corner. Looking at his clothes, he seemed to be a small baihu. This person wore the mask of the Brocade Clan Guard. It was not clear who he was. Stand behind me. Li Fan reached out and blocked Dragoness behind him. At the same time, he turned his left palm and gathered a strong true chi. Head escort Li, I'm not an enemy. The baihu cupped his hands at Li Fan. I'm here to tell you something. Say it. There were a few students around, but they didn't notice the Brocade Clan Guard standing in the dark. His clothes, on the other hand, were able to blend well with the darkness. Li Fan didn't want to make a move. He didn't want to disturb the peaceful campus. Someone asked me to come here to inform you of a matter. The baihu pointed to the east. In the headquarters of the devil cult, there's a book called 9 Truths Secrets. It has records about the martial god's real body. It can be used as a reference for your martial arts. Oh! Li Fan was a little surprised. Who asked you to come? A friend of yours. The other party didn't specify who it was. I've already conveyed the message, so it's not convenient for me to stay any longer. Please take care. As the official spoke, he retreated back into the shadows. Soon, even his aura disappeared. This person. Even though he was only a baihu, his ability to conceal his aura was truly formidable. He came and went, but Li Fan did not notice. Is he from the Imperial Secret Service? The dragon lady seemed a little interested. I haven't seen them in a long time. I didn't expect them to still exist. This is also an existence with a long history, and one of them is an extremely powerful fellow. How awesome is that? Saint level. Li Fan recalled the battle between Wang Luo and Liao Ju. He was known as the Emperor of the pugilistic world. At his peak, he had the power of a martial saint. But now, according to what Wang Luo had said, his strength was less than half, and Wang Luo had died in his hands. Even if I were to use the returning sword, I'm afraid I wouldn't be his match. Oh! This was somewhat out of the dragon lady's expectations. Even the Azure Dragon was defeated by you. Is that man really that powerful? Yes, I won't brag for the enemy. Li Fan thought for a while. Maybe I should consider this man's opinion and go to the headquarters of the cult to take a look. What is a cult? The dragon lady did not know much about the cult. At that time, there were only 108 demonic sections. Where did the cult come from? The 108 demonic sects were all conquered by a man named Li Wei. Li Fan mentioned the name of the cult master. He's also very powerful. I can go and take a look. Anyway, do you have a plan? Are you going to barge into the cult? Of course not. Since I'm going to look for something, I'd better sneak in. Li Fan made up his mind. It's decided then. Follow me to the cult's headquarters. Do you know where it is? I don't know, but I can buy it. With the Phoenix King around, he would probably be able to find out the location of the cult's headquarters. What about me? The dragon lady pointed at herself. If you want to sneak in, I'll definitely become a burden, right? I'll leave you in the military for a period of time. After thinking for a while, Li Fan continued, after all, I won't be able to take care of you if you enter the cult. No way. The dragon lady rejected Li Fan's suggestion. I'm your mentor. I have to stay by your side every day for the next 2 years. Who knows what kind of bad behavior you'll have when you disappear? Why are you always studying my behavior? Besides, I'm about to graduate, right? Don't you want to learn the ultimate move, the 5-blow thunderstruck? It didn't seem to be this name the last time, did it? Li Fan tried to recall. Almost. In short, it's a great ultimate skill that has been passed down from generation to generation. With this ultimate skill, even if it's the emperor of the martial arts world, Liao Ju, you'll have a chance to defeat him. How troublesome, Li Fan could not refuse. You look like this? How am I supposed to bring you along to hide? Is it inconvenient for children? The dragon lady smiled. You should have said so earlier. This problem is easy to solve. As she spoke, she spun around. The blue light wrapped around her body. When the light dissipated, she had already grown to a height of 167 meters. Her figure was tall and graceful. She was completely a young girl version of the dragon lady. Us dragon ladies can freely control our body, the dragon lady said proudly. Otherwise, why do you think I can eat so much and not get fat? You're awesome. Then why don't you maintain this figure? Li Fan asked. This figure is so inconvenient. The dragon lady looked at Li Fan and smiled sweetly. Besides, aren't you a lullican? Damn, who's a lullican? Li Fan wiped off his cold sweat. With this ultimate skill, it'll be much more convenient. Of course, this is the dragon lady's ultimate skill. Do you want to learn it? The dragon lady looked at Li Fan and asked proudly. I don't need to learn it from you. I know it too. You sure know how to brag. Forget it if you don't believe me. As Li Fan spoke, he took out his phone and made a call. This information is worth quite a lot of money. Hearing Li Fan's question, the Phoenix King on the other end of the phone immediately answered. This kind of information is worth at least 9 to 10 digits, right? I say, old phone. Li Fan began to curry favor. Our friendship is not shallow. Isn't it not good for you to ask for such an exorbitant price? My head escort Li, you're really a forgetful person. The Phoenix King reminded him. Don't tell me you've forgotten that you rejected my proposal to cooperate a long time ago? Work is work, and feelings are feelings. In my heart, you old phone are my friend. If you need anything from me, I will definitely help you without hesitation. Chapter 11-12. Brother Li is right. Phoenix King seemed to agree with Li Fan's words. Li Fan was overjoyed. Phoenix King continued. Work is work, feelings are feelings. I admit that we have a good personal relationship. When you are free, come to my place more often. I will treat you to food and drinks. But this is a work matter. Naturally, it has to be business. If it's not in the tens, we can forget about it. Li Fan was stunned for a moment, then said, Old Phoenix, do you think it's not good for me to go there to freeload every day? Am I, Li Fan, such a shameless person? Surely not, right? So, I think it's better for us to discuss this matter. Li Fan, let's not beat around the bush. The matter you are asking is not a small matter. Even if you want to know when Murong will masturbate, I will think about it and tell you. Fuck, is he really that heartless? He really is that heartless. Phoenix King did not hesitate. Then fuck off. Goodbye. Just as Li Fan was about to hang up, Phoenix King's voice sounded again. Brother Li, why are you in such a hurry? What, you still want me to stay for a meal? Ha, that's not it. Phoenix King changed the topic. As the saying goes, ask for a sky-high price and pay for it on the ground. Brother Li, you still haven't haggled with me? What, I offer 200, you can't do it. Brother Li, you are not sincere. I think we should forget about it. Alright, let's talk properly. Li Fan did not continue to pester and asked Phoenix King seriously. What do you want? 9 Truths Technique. Phoenix King was extremely intelligent and had already guessed why Li Fan was going to the demonic cult. Li Fan did not hesitate. This matter was good. Without Phoenix King's news, he would not be able to find the demonic cult's headquarters. Just like what Phoenix King said, this was a simple business deal. Good, straightforward. As expected of the little tyrant. The Phoenix King laughed heartily. Then it's settled. You'll receive the message in a moment. Remember to check it in time. Destroy it after 10 seconds. It's quite mysterious. Li Fan hung up the phone. Soon he received a text message with a string of addresses. Fortunately, Li Fan had a good memory. He memorized the address, and the message disappeared from Li Fan's phone. To think that the Phoenix King would be able to do this. It seemed that he had quite a few hackers under him. Get ready to go. Li Fan put away his phone and glanced at Dragon Girl. Should we call a helicopter? That won't do. Today is a secret operation. Li Fan said, we can't make such a big move. The two of us will take the secret path of the escort agency. The escort agency had prepared many secret passages that extended in all directions and were very well hidden. Li Fan brought Dragon Girl and the two of them came to a mountain in Guizhou through a secret path. According to the information given by the Phoenix King, the headquarters of the devil cult was indeed at this place. Deep in the mountains. It's indeed a very hidden place. Li Fan walked in the wilderness. Although it was already winter, it was not cold here. It was only slightly dry. Li Fan stepped on the branch, making a cracking sound under his feet. This place is suitable for secluded cultivation. Dragon Girl looked at this desolate and uninhabited mountain. Maybe there's an otherworldly expert here. The mountains now no longer have the feeling of the past. Li Fan smiled. Almost all the mountains and fields have been traversed by people. The wilderness is no longer mysterious. It's just that there are some desolate mountains that almost no one wants to come a second time. Li Fan looked at the surrounding desolate mountains. The reason why the devil cult chose this place as their headquarters was probably because this place was sparsely populated. As for how to enter the devil cult's headquarters, Li Fan had already thought of a way. He was not in a hurry to go deeper. Instead, he found a place with mountains and water, lit a bonfire, and sat there fishing. That's right. Dragon Girl was very satisfied, not forgetting to prepare food for me. That's how a good student should be. And just wait patiently. Li Fan placed a bucket beside him. I'll catch a few fish and roast them for you. You just fish, leave the roasted fish to me. Dragon Girl said proudly. In terms of eating techniques, I won't lose to anyone. Alright, you do it. Li Fan seemed to be well prepared. He took out the seasonings one by one and placed them at the side. Alright, leave it to me. Dragon Girl licked her lips. Since I'm a teacher, I should naturally eat more. How about this? I'll eat 10, you eat 1. How about it? You. This is too unfair. Li Fan smiled bitterly. No matter what, the one fishing is me. I can help you. Dragon Girl said as she took the jade flute from Li Fan's waist and held it in her hand. You know how to whistle? Li Fan tried not to sound too evil. Do you think I only know how to eat? Dragon Girl rolled her eyes at Li Fan. I'm also very good at music, okay? With that, she began to whistle the short flute. Different from Li Fan's music, Dragon Girl's music has a wild feeling. It was as if he had returned to nature, carefree and unrestrained. Even Li Fan was fascinated when he heard it. At the same time, the calm waters suddenly surged. Li Fan looked around and was surprised. He saw that the water was densely packed with fish, scrambling to be first, as if they were fighting for a seat in the front row. Dragon Girl put down the short flute and looked at the fish excitedly. Look at them, how cute! She licked her lips. Fat and big, they look delicious. Towards this foodie, Li Fan was speechless. What song is this? Dragon song. Dragon Girl said, it can summon all things to worship. Awesome. You're not summoning all things to worship, you're looking for food to worship. Aya, it's more or less the same. Anyway, all things are food to me. Dragon Girl said casually. Alright, you sit down peacefully, I'll continue fishing for you. Fishing is so slow, there are so many of them, use a net to fish. What's the fun in that? Li Fan laughed at Dragon Girl. What's the fun in fishing? It's to catch those who are willing to take the bait. Crazy. Dragon Girl curled her lips and could only eat snacks to satisfy her hunger. Li Fan sat there calmly and continued fishing. Because the fish were basically gathered here, Li Fan fished very quickly. After a while, he caught 7 or 8 fish, and the fish gradually dispersed. In order to ensure efficiency, Dragon Girl once again played the dragon song. But this time, the water suddenly shook with a huge ripple, as if something terrible was approaching. Chapter 11:13. Dragon Girl suddenly starts to drool. She looks like she's craving for food. Delicious, delicious food is coming. Dragon Girl keeps shouting, Li Fan, Li Fan. Quick, catch it. As she speaks, the water surface starts to churn. Waves spread out as if something is coming. The surrounding fish scatter in panic. The movement on the lake surface is getting louder and louder. Li Fan takes a step back. He feels the pressure. At this time, a huge carp jumps out of the water. This carp was at least 5 meters long, and its body was covered in thick scales, splashing sparkling and translucent water. Many small fish around it were dragged out of the water by its leap. This guy is the king of carps. Such a big guy, it must be the king of the lake. It must be delicious. Dragon Girl swallows her saliva. 100-year-old carp king must have delicious meat. No one knew who wanted to eat who, but the carp king had already opened its huge mouth, aimed at Li Fan, and swallowed him. What an imposing aura. Li Fan can't help but laugh. This kind of giant can only be seen by people attracted by the song of the dragon. The carp king is already above Li Fan's head. Its black like Mount Tai is pressing down on him. There's still a hook in its mouth. It seems like it wants to swallow Li Fan along with the bait. Good. Li Fan holds the fishing rod. He infuses his chi into this ordinary fishing rod and strengthens the fishing line. He swings it hard. The carp king's huge body is actually pulled by the small fishing hook and is swung up. A huge carp king was spinning in circles in the air. Go back. Li Fan swings it hard again, throwing the huge carp king back into the lake. Aya, why did you throw it back? Dragon Girl looks at Li Fan angrily. That was my lunch. Everything has a spirit, Li Fan explained. Especially the carp king who has lived for 100 years. Who knows, one day he might be able to leap over the dragon gate and become a dragon. Nonsense, how could a low-level creature like a fish become a dragon? Dragon Girl was flustered. You are not filial to master. This is too much. It's because you, as a teacher, can eat too much. Li Fan was rather helpless. Besides, we're here to fish. If we get such a big fish, we'll be suspected. No, you have to compensate me. After we go back, add a box of instant noodles every day. Deal. The dragon lady agreed. The carp king swam around the lake, looking at Li Fan with some reluctance. Li Fan glanced at the carp king, and his aura suddenly erupted. The carp king sensed Li Fan's strength and fled with the school of fishes. Look at you, you scared away all the fish. The dragon lady was very regretful. It's fine. Slowly fish. These are enough for you to roast for a while. Li Fan pointed to the bucket of fish. Eat slowly. If it's not enough, I'll help you fish more. Perform well. Master has high hopes for you. The dragon lady pulled a few branches and skewered a few fish. She placed them on the fire to roast. The seasonings that Li Fan brought were all used. The dragon lady had a strong taste, so she added a lot of salt and chili. The fire was not very strong, but when the dragon lady gently blew at the bonfire, the fire immediately burned brighter. Li Fan sat by the lake and caught a glimpse of this scene. However, he did not say anything. He only paid attention to it in his heart. The dragon lady still had many secrets waiting for him to slowly uncover. Soon, the fragrance of the roasted fish wafted into Li Fan's nose. It was said that gluttons usually knew how to cook. Li Fan believed it now. This dragon lady also knew some survival skills. Smelling the fragrance of the roasted fish, even he was a little hungry. How about it? Do you want one? The dragon lady asked proudly. If you can leave one for me, I'll thank the heavens and earth. Look at what you're saying. Am I that big of an eater? The dragon lady defended, I'm very restrained, okay. Every time I eat, I only eat until I'm 70% full. Li Fan did not know what to say. Come, this fish is the smallest. No, the meat is the most delicious. I'll leave it for you. The rest of the coarse skin and thick flesh can be handled by master. The dragon lady excitedly gave the smallest fish to Li Fan. Eat, don't stand on ceremony. Li Fan hung the fishing rod on the shore and picked up the roasted fish. He was indeed a little hungry. Let's eat first. Just as the two of them were about to start, two men in red robes walked over from the side. The moment the two of them came, they began to drive Li Fan and the dragon lady away. Hey, you two, this is a private area. You are not allowed to enter. Private area? Li Fan looked at the two of them puzzledly. Isn't this a barren mountain? Since when did it become a private area? You two must be from somewhere else. The red-robed man frowned. This area has been taken over by us. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. Can't you see the sign outside? Quickly leave. The other one rolled up his sleeves. If you don't leave, I'll beat you up. That brother was tall and strong, which was quite a deterrent. Fine, coming out to fish is too depressing. Li Fan sighed as he began to pack his things. Hurry up and scram. Less nonsense. The red-robed man walked over and kicked Li Fan's bucket. But at this moment, Li Fan suddenly grabbed his calf and pulled it down. The red-robed man lost his balance and fell in front of Li Fan. Li Fan grabbed the man's head with both hands and twisted it. With a crack, the man's head was twisted off. You. Before the other red-robed man could question him, Li Fan suddenly appeared in front of him and slapped him on the chin from bottom to top. Bam! The other party's head flew up from the slap and his entire body flew up high. Li Fan grabbed his ankle and pulled him down. With a turn of his body, he used the force to smash the ground. Then, Li Fan jabbed his foot into his opponent's chest, bursting his heart. Is this your goal? While watching Li Fan kill people, the dragon girl who was eating fish said slowly, You are really ruthless. You are merciless. From the moment they joined the devil cult, it was equivalent to them courting death. Li Fan was not polite at all. The devil cult should not exist in the first place. And you are very decisive. The dragon girl nodded. As an imperial sword, sometimes you need to be ruthless. Thank you for the praise. Put on these clothes first. Li Fan took off their robes and threw one to the dragon girl. Put it on. And this, put it on. This is the devil cult's token. These clothes are so ugly. Looking at the devil cult's uniform, the dragon girl curled her lips. Although it is ugly with these two, it is foolproof. Chapter 11:14. In the past, Lu Zhu had talked to him about the demonic cult, and she said that it was huge and had a large number of people. There were 108 branches under the demonic cult, which corresponded to the previous 108 sections. In such a big place, it was impossible to memorize everyone. Hence, the only thing that could distinguish their identities was the waist tag. Li Fan picked up the waist tag in his hand and looked at it. It was written that he was from the King Kong clan, Luda was tall and burly, with a muscular body. After Li Fan put on his red robe, his body swelled up and he activated the alien bone swap. Very quickly, his figure became exactly the same as Luda from before, rough and strong. The dragon girl was a little surprised. You really know how to change your form. It's just a small trick. It's not worth showing off. Li Fan pretended to be generous, causing the dragon girl to roll her eyes. This guy is deliberately mocking me. I'll teach him a lesson later. Both of them changed their clothes and walked towards the depths of the barren mountain. Li Fan instructed the dragon girl not to speak along the way and to pretend to be mute. Communication would be done by Li Fan. The dragon girl knew that it was an important matter, so she did not refute Li Fan. She had been quiet the whole way, not saying a single word. However, when no one was paying attention, she would secretly stuff snacks into her mouth. Li Fan could not do anything about that. After all, he was a foodie. Her eating standards were far beyond that of ordinary people. The two of them soon arrived at the deepest part of the barren mountain. Li Fan saw a row of huge tombs in the depths of the mountain. Tombs again? Li Fan thought of Liao Ju's underground mausoleum and seemed to have understood something. It seemed that Li Wei and Liao Ju had the same taste and liked to bring them to places with dead people. However, no one would be able to find them in such a tomb. They were too good at hiding. At the entrance of the tomb, there was an old man who was sitting in a small watchtower and listening to the radio. This person looked like a tomb keeper, but Li Fan knew very well that Ju Bai was the devil cult's gatekeeper. Li Fan led Dragon Girl into the underground tomb. When Li Fan approached the watchtower, he was stopped by the old man. "Show me your waist tag." The old man went straight to the point and asked Li Fan and the others for their waist tokens. This thing was already prepared. Li Fan took out his waist token and showed it to the old man. "Go in." The old man reminded Li Fan, "Protector Song is about to hold a god's assembly. The two of you really came at the right time." "Protector Song?" Li Fan muttered to himself. "Isn't that Song Fuya?" This trader of the Valley of the Medicine Masters, the leader of the Yin Gate, was very diligent in his work. Li Fan and the Dragon Lady walked into the graveyard and stood in front of the largest tombstone. Li Fan picked up his waist tag and pressed it on a gap in the tombstone. Then he twisted it. These were all explained in the message from the Phoenix King. This guy was very detailed. The coffin in front of the tombstone slowly opened, revealing a tunnel that led underground. He really knows how to do it. Li Fan could not help but click his tongue in wonder. Who would find out if a tunnel was built in such a place? This is an underground experimental base built by the island people. The Dragon Lady stretched her back and said slowly, "How do you know?" "When they were building this, I was still awake." Dragon Girl pointed to the gloomy corridor. "Do you see this palm print on the corridor?" Li Fan looked at it with the help of the weak light. Sure enough, there was a small palm print on the wall. "This is? I left it behind back then." Dragon Girl said, "Back then, there were a few island Onmyoji experts here. At that time, Wang Luo had just become an Shangfang sword, so I brought him here to take a look." "I suddenly feel like you're an old lady." "Nonsense. Is there an old lady as beautiful as me?" "There's no old lady who can eat as much as you." "You," Dragon Girl suddenly quietened down. Li Fan also did not say anything because the two of them felt the aura of outsiders. At the front of the corridor, a few Devil Sect disciples wearing red robes walked out. The few of them were chatting and laughing, and did not notice Li Fan and the rest at all. But one of the brothers walking at the back suddenly put his hand on Li Fan's shoulder. Li Fan frowned and raised his true chi. "Brother, you came back at the right time. The Poison Dragon Palace is holding a meeting, and Protector Song is personally organizing it. You're lucky, unlike us, who can only go outside to patrol." This Song Fuya seemed to have a lot of prestige in the hearts of the disciples. "May the true God bless you." The other party patted Li Fan's shoulder again. "May the true God bless you." Li Fan hurriedly responded. This seemed to be a mantra of the Devil Sect. Only then did the other party leave. Li Fan heaved a sigh of relief. He was really a little interested in what this god assembly was for. Li Fan brought Dragon Girl and walked all the way into the depths of the underground base. As expected of the base dug by the Japanese back then. It was deep and long, and no one knew where it led to. The two of them walked all the way, and Dragon Girl seemed to be very familiar with the way. With this old driver leading the way, Li Fan also saved a lot of trouble. Soon, the two of them passed through the maze-like corridor and came to the hull of the underground base. Li Fan was a little shocked because what appeared in front of him was a huge village. In front of him were streets that extended in all directions, and on the side were houses with green tiles and blue stones. People came and went in an endless stream. This place is really an underground graveyard? This is even more awesome than Liao Ju's place. Liao Ju's place was an underground palace. Although it was luxurious, it was not suitable for living. But this underground village was different. It was a little like the underground world of the Phoenix King, a country of its own. At the top, there was a row of incandescent lamps, which seemed to be a device similar to a small sun, providing sunlight for this underground village. And around the village, there were plantations and pastures, in addition to an underground river. It seemed to be self-sufficient and happy. Even Dragon Girl could not help but be shocked when she saw this. This place was simply an independent underground kingdom. Amazing! Li Fan sincerely praised. No wonder for so many years, no matter how the Orthodox sects tried to ban the devil cult, there was no way to completely exterminate them. In an underground world like this, they could completely live independently and even not go to the surface for a few years. The Poison Dragon Hall is over there. Dragon Girl looked to the side, then stretched out her hand and pointed. How do you know? Isn't it written on the sign? Li Fan took a look. Indeed, there was a road sign next to it that was the same as the one on the surface. The Poison Dragon Hall was on the right, and they should be able to reach it after walking down. Looking at the peddlers on the street, they also had everything they could think of, food, clothing, and everything else. Dragon Girl stood in front of a snack stall and could not move. She was forcibly dragged away by Li Fan. Chapter 11:15. The underground world is really not small. Li Fan and Dragon Girl walk towards the direction of the Poison Dragon Palace. There are many red-robed devil sect disciples in the surroundings who are also walking towards the Poison Dragon Palace. It seems that there are many people who want to participate in this so-called God's assembly, causing Li Fan to be somewhat curious. What was the purpose of this so-called God's assembly? Does Song Fuya really have that much power? I heard that even the Saintess will participate in this God's assembly. A devil sect disciple who is walking by the side says to his companion, "If I can see the Saintess' beautiful face, my life will be complete." How can you have that honor? The only one who can see the Saintess' beautiful face is the sect leader. Sigh, if only I have that honor. Hearing their words, Li Fan mutters in his heart. Who is this devil sect Saintess? This is not the first time he has dealt with the devil sect, but he has never seen this so-called Saintess. How does she look? Is she beautiful? Dragon Girl, don't talk nonsense when we go in. Dragon Girl nods her head. At this moment, she has become very obedient. And be obedient. I'll treat you to something delicious later. Li Fan follows the crowd and arrives in front of the Poison Dragon Palace. Even if the front was built by the Japanese in the past, the thing in front of him is definitely made by the devil sect themselves. In front of him is a huge building with a stone centipede crawling on it. The centipede's head is right at the position of the door. Its open fangs are the passage leading inside. Poison Dragon Palace. Is this so-called poison dragon a centipede? This poisonous creature is quite Song Fuya style. This centipede looks delicious. Dragon Girl starts to swallow her saliva again. Damn, you even eat stone? I've eaten 9-winged centipede before. It's really delicious. Li Fan is especially helpless. This girl is unparalleled in terms of eating. Go in, remember not to mess around. I know, so long-winded. Dragon Girl seems to be quite impatient. Li Fan no longer says anything as he enters the hall with the crowd. Inside the Poison Dragon Palace, there were statues of centipedes everywhere. These were all worshipped by the people in the sect as poison dragons, a symbol of protection. Song Fuya was wearing a long robe that looked like a centipede. She stood on the platform and looked at the followers below. Her gaze was deep, and from her expression, she seemed to have a bad feeling. After waiting for almost everyone to enter, she finally knocked the scepter in her hand and said loudly, "Everyone, thank you for coming to the Poison Dragon Temple. I'm sure all of you know why you've been gathered here." Song Fuya's voice became more serious. "Recently, the Holy War Plan has swept the entire Jianghu. Even our holy church will not be able to escape this calamity. Everyone here is an inseparable part of our holy church. The Holy War Plan has already threatened the very foundation of our existence. Therefore we must fight." As Song Fuya spoke, she looked at the side door. "Because of this, the saintess came here to give us the blessings of the true God." Everyone became excited and looked in the direction of the side door. A woman in red with a veil slowly walked out from the door. Although they could not see clearly whether this woman was ugly or beautiful, the surrounding people all shouted excitedly, "Saintess! Saintess! Saintess!" These people shouted in unison, their voices filled with strength and anticipation. Li Fan could not help but shake his head. Faith was really scary. Under everyone's attention, the saintess walked to Song Fuya's side. Li Fan crossed his arms and looked for a long time. From the appearance of this woman, he could not see anything special about her. She wore a long robe and a veil. Whether her figure was good or bad, whether she was beautiful or ugly, it was all a mystery. How could a saintess who could not see her appearance be called a saintess? Li Fan muttered in his heart, "She probably looked very ugly. These guys probably just randomly found a woman to be their spiritual faith. Devil sect is a devil sect after all. Without some spiritual support, they would not be able to survive in this underground world." "Li Fan?" Suddenly someone beside him transmitted his voice to Li Fan, causing Li Fan to be somewhat surprised. However, his face did not change as he looked at the red-robed man beside him. "Jiang Feng, what a coincidence, you are here too. Sure enough, it is you." Jiang Feng seemed to be somewhat proud. "Sure enough, the smell on your body will not change. Don't you think you are a bit perverted?" Li Fan was quite speechless. Why did this guy smell his smell for no reason? He was indeed an extremely perverted man. "It seems that this time we have the same goal." Jiang Feng continued to transmit his voice. "Did you see that saintess? I heard that the 9 Truths Essence technique is in her collection." "You are so kind to tell me?" Li Fan looked at the stage, but his attention was placed on Jiang Feng. He could feel that Jiang Feng definitely did not have good intentions. This man did not even have a single hair on his head. He did not know when he would scheme against him. This devil sect is unfathomable. I do not know the depth of the saintess martial arts. I hope that you and I can cooperate. Since you want to cooperate, why don't you tell me some useful information first?" Li Fan's eyes turned. "How do you know that this is the devil sect?" "Hee, the devil sect's headquarters is no longer a secret." Jiang Feng smiled. "I, Murong Villa, have been investigating them for so many years and have finally made a breakthrough. This place is very well hidden. No wonder they have been hiding from us for so many years." Li Fan cursed in his heart. So this news has already been known by Murong's family. Then this is not considered exclusive news. Phoenix King is really good at doing business. Murong Bo, that old fox, also wants the 9 Truths Essence technique? No, he is not interested in that. Jiang Feng actually told Li Fan very frankly, "The one who is interested is me. Master did not know that I would come here. Do you want to share this book with me? Of course, our cooperation will definitely be very enjoyable." Jiang Feng seemed to have forgotten that he had just fought with Li Fan. His voice was filled with enthusiasm, as if Li Fan was still his third brother. "It has been a long time since I drank with Big Brother. Us 3 brothers should have a good gathering one day. Li Fan, Jiang Feng, and the young master of Jin Clan's escort agency, Jin Zhou. The three of them were sworn brothers with different surnames. But ever since the golden escort selection, the three of them had not met each other. But Jiang Feng could say such words without any misgivings. He was really shameless. Second brother, you really can always surprise me. Li Fan chuckled. Then does third brother agree? I have not objected. Li Fan smiled without saying anything. Whether or not they would cooperate, he would observe first. Third brother is really cunning. Jiang Feng said again, there is no need to be so polite with an older brother. If there are difficulties, let us face them together. Just at this moment, Song Fuya suddenly spoke. Let the saintess choose a holy disciple to bless. Everyone's gaze once again landed on the saintess. Chapter 11:16. Choosing a person to bless was something that the saintess of the gods' assembly would do. For the saints of the devil cult, this was the highest honor, making them all excited, waiting for the selection of the saintess. This is a good opportunity. Jiang Feng's voice came into Li Fan's ears. If we can get close to the saintess, we might have a chance to get the 9 Truths essential technique. We don't even know what kind of person this saintess is. How can we know who she wants to find? Li Fan was very doubtful. Let's see how lucky we are. Jiang Feng's voice was full of confidence. I don't know why, but I feel that the goddess of luck likes to be on my side. Then let's bet on our luck. Li Fan was also not sure, but for some reason he always felt that the saintess seemed to be intentionally or unintentionally looking at him a few times. Okay, everyone has waited for a long time. Let's choose this lucky saint, and then end this god's assembly. After that, under the leadership of Lord Sect Master, let us fight against the invading clowns of the Holy War. Song Fuya waved her hand, and the saintess walked forward. At this moment, a strange voice suddenly came from the crowd. Devil cult saintess, today you will die under our swords. With that, the 6 men suddenly threw off their red cloaks, revealing the black coats inside, jumped forward at the same time, and uniformly surrounded the saintess. Li Fan was a little surprised. These 6 brothers were very familiar. 6 swordsmen. Jiang Feng also frowned. I didn't expect them to be one step ahead of me and have already arrived here. Your Murong villa is really impatient. Li Fan decided to watch the show first. I hope it won't affect the plan. The 6 of them are really bold. Jiang Feng couldn't help but be unhappy. It seems that Murong Bo has already lost trust in me. But you don't seem to be worried at all. Li Fan glanced at Jiang Feng. This guy would not fight an unprepared battle. Thinking about how he had relied on number 1 to slaughter everyone, Li Fan felt that he must have a better backup plan. Saintess of the Devil Sect, die. The 6 swordsmen surrounded the saintess. Then, 6 black swords were unsheathed and shot towards the saintess. Shameless! Song Fuya immediately cursed. She waved her hand and a sweet scent filled the air. Li Fan did not hesitate to wrap his body with his true qi, isolating himself from the fragrance. He placed his hand on Dragon Girl's body and felt that Dragon Girl had also used a special energy to protect her body. Jiang Feng also wore a strange mask. He seemed to know that Song Fuya was here, so he was prepared. The other disciples were also fine. It seemed that they had taken the corresponding antidote on a daily basis. The 6 swordsmen also stretched out their hands and put on gas masks. Song Fuya, do you think the 6 of us would come here rashly? No matter how powerful your poison is, it's useless if I can't absorb it. Damn it, who are the 6 of you? They're here to kill you. Today, the 6 of us will turn this place into a river of blood. With that, the 6 black swords shot towards the saintess. The saintess's martial arts did not seem to be very good. She hurriedly took a few steps back. The swords chased after her, as if they would not stop until they took her life. But at this moment, a few Devil Sect disciples suddenly jumped out. They were not afraid of death and used their bodies to block the swords for the saintess. Puff, puff, puff. With a few muffled sounds, the 6 people's bodies were pierced. but they stretched out their hands and firmly grabbed the enemy's swords before they died. The devil sect is indeed terrifying. They are actually so fearless. The 6 swordsmen coldly snorted. They stretched out their hands and the 6 swords broke free from the corpses and flew back, floating in front of them. The saints of the devil cult had already surrounded them, but the 6 of them were like cutting melons and vegetables, killing the saints around them until their flesh and blood splattered everywhere. "Protect the saintess," Song Fuya shouted. They were just shouting that they were all brothers, but now they were obviously using the devil sect disciples as cannon fodder. More holy disciples pounced towards the 6 swordsmen, stopping them in their tracks. The leader of the 6 swordsmen roared, "Second brother, third brother, you too kill the devil sect's saintess. The 4 of us will cover for you." "Yes." 2 swordsmen pointed forward. 2 black swords immediately pierced through the layers of flesh and stabbed towards the saintess who was running away in a panic. Li Fan and Jiang Feng glanced at each other, then both of them made their moves. Li Fan threw a stone while Jiang Feng secretly threw out a coin from his sleeve. The 2 swords that had pierced through 7 or 8 devil sect disciples suddenly bounced off in midair. With 2 clangs, they cut into the wall next to them. What? The 6 swordsmen were shocked. There was actually someone blocking their way? Who is it? The leader of the swordsmen roared. At this time, the black and white impermanence guardians had already rushed in with a group of devil sect elites. "Protect the saintess." The crowd roared as if they wanted to skin the 6 swordsmen alive. "Ignore them. Chase after the saintess." The 6 swordsmen followed the saintess out from the side door. While Li Fan and Jiang Feng were squeezed by the crowd, they also rushed into the side door. Li Fan turned his head and realized that the dragon girl had disappeared. The frenzied crowd had already scattered the 2 of them. He couldn't care about the girl now. Anyway, she would be fine. No matter how powerful the 4 sacred beasts were, they would not be able to find this underground world in an instant. Good luck to you. Li Fan prayed for the dragon girl and chased after the saintess in front of him. Jiang Feng was also here. Li Fan knew that it was time to race against time. He must not hesitate. The 2 of them followed the crowd and chased after the saintess. At this time, the saintess could not die. They must let her survive from the hands of the 6 swordsmen. These 6 swordsmen were also too much. Why were they chasing so closely? Were they not afraid that they would not be able to return after coming to this place? Murongbo was not stupid. He would not send people to die for nothing. In other words, Murongbo's people should already be outside, waiting to purge the devil sect's underground world? Li Fan felt a chill. This possibility was still possible. The most important thing now was to quickly find the saintess and obtain the 9 Truths Secrets technique. He and Jiang Feng followed closely behind the saintess and the others, one in front and one behind. The saintess's escaping skills were top-notch. Although this underground world was connected in all directions, she clearly remembered every route. And the 6 swordsmen's lightness skills were also outstanding. They followed closely behind the saintess, not letting her escape. And the holy disciples were indeed a motley crew. There were good and bad skills among them. Basically, most of them were left behind. Li Fan and Jiang Feng steadily chased after them, like a mantis stalking a cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.